Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
We changed the truth for God into a lie. In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The immaculate conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the son of God. To you was kind of odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai.
Hebrew Israelites, Kwam Yasha.
It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Israel. Welcome to another class here at ISBHBK. We're located here in Houston, Texas. The school address is 8524 South Brazel Boulevard, Houston, Texas, zip code 77071. The class times is Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m., Fridays from 6 to 9 p.m., and Shabbat, Saturday morning class, is going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or however long it goes. And we got classes out there in San Antonio, Texas as well. And the school address for the school out there in San Antonio, Texas is 4219 Centergate Street. And they also have a YouTube channel as well.
ISBHBK San Antonio.
And their YouTube channel is ISBHBK San Antonio. So we ask that you go on there, like, share, and subscribe to the brothers out there, to the school out there in San Antonio, Texas. Again, their YouTube channel is ISBHBK San Antonio. So go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, and get those. Go ahead and get those brothers out there as well. And we also have classes out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The address of the school is 7710 Menal Boulevard, Albuquerque, New Mexico, zip code 87110. And out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Mashaba does the Blog Talk Radio. And that's every Tuesday and Thursday. And it starts at 9:30 in the morning. And to link up with that is blogtalkradio.com/MASHAHBA. Again, it's blogtalkradio.com/MASHAHBA. We ask that you go ahead and like and subscribe to their podcast as well. And go ahead and like, share, and subscribe and get those brothers out as well. And we got the restructured kids class coming soon. It's going to be in June. But you can always go on ISBHBK Kids and watch our previous classes, our previous kids classes on our channel. And we also got the 5 Minutes of Wisdom. We ask that you like, share, and subscribe to that as well. We got the ISBHBK Cable Show. So there's plenty of classes that you guys can watch and get into. And to contact any of the priests, we got priest Quatazap right here to my right. His number is 303-557-8979. Again, his number is 303-557-8979. We got Priest Kazakia out there in Virginia. His number is 281-707-2737. Again, his number is 281-707-2737. And I forgot to mention, we also got our cable show, and it's every Tuesday. It'll be moving to Saturday in the near future, but right now it's on Tuesday, and it starts at 8:30 p.m.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, it starts tomorrow?
Yeah, started tomorrow, so it'll be at 8:30. 8 o'clock.
Okay, so starting tomorrow, we'll be doing the kids class. Starting tomorrow, we'll be doing the cable show at 8 p.m. So the cable show is going to be moved from Tuesdays to Saturdays, and it's going to be moved from 8:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And like always, it's going to be on Comcast Local Channel 17, or you can stream it live at hmstv.org. And Israel Wear is back taking orders again on Facebook. So if you'd like to get anything made, garments, girdles, headbands, tunics, all that, fringe shirts, fringe pants, go to Facebook and type in Israel Wear, and you'll be able to get in touch there if you'd like to get anything made. And for any donations and any contributions, the Wells Fargo account number should be on the screen. The Google Wallet number should be on the screen as well. And if you'd like to mail anything, you can mail it to the school address here in Houston. Or if you'd like to send something to San Antonio, or if you'd like to send something to Albuquerque, you can mail it to those school addresses as well. But if you'd like to help out with the school rent, with the bills, anything like that, the Wells Fargo account number is on the screen. All contributions is welcome and needed. So, yeah, if you'd like to help out, definitely do. And with that, we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions.
Yeah, and just a reminder that we got the school. We found a building in Virginia, so we definitely are going to be asking brothers and sisters for some help to help secure the building. We found it. We want to get in there by, I believe, the 15th. So, you know, everybody here is vowing to help out. So anybody online that wants to help out for us to help secure the school in Virginia, you can definitely do so. You can send any donation towards that to the Google Wallet as well as the Wells Fargo. If you do like the electronic, just please put what it's for. And yeah, make sure you like, share, subscribe also to the Virginia, it's the ISBHPK Norfolk, Virginia page. No one ever says that right. But make sure you subscribe to that page. Brother's gonna start up, Kazaki is gonna start up classes there pretty soon. So you got San Antonio, you got Houston, you got Virginia, and as soon as we get Mashaba on board with the YouTube, we'll have Albuquerque. Right? We're trying to get Mashaba in there. That way you can get classes just, you know, basically around the clock from ISBHPK. So make sure you like, share, subscribe to those different channels. But yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it for the announcements. Any questions before we get into class? Any questions on any topic? Go ahead and shoot your shot. Anything inside the classroom? Why? It's Friday and y'all are sleepy? What's up? Y'all good? It's the Shabbat and y'all are excited? Con. Y'all ain't acting like the weather, right? All rainy and dreary. Y'all ain't like wet blankets right now, are y'all? Con. Okay. Just making sure. So, let's see here. What's that?
In Isaiah, the first chapter, first verse, it says the vision of Isaiah. Is Isaiah translating his vision?
Go there. Isaiah 1. What do you mean? When you say translating his vision, what do you mean?
Is he the one narrating that chapter?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Isaiah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that's dropping that. Yeah, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amoz, which you saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. So remember, a lot of the book of Isaiah was written prophetically. A lot of it hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, you read Isaiah 60, Isaiah 14, those things haven't happened. That's
chapter 1 hasn't happened yet.
Well, let's see here. Chapter one is happening.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, chapter 1, that's definitely happening.
Okay.
That's definitely happening right now, because does Israel know? Think about it. When you read verse 3, it says, the ox knoweth his owner, the ass his master's crib, but Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider. a lot of our people don't consider that they are Israelites. You try to tell them, think about it. You tell your family, yeah, we're the people of the book, and they're like, nigga, we Gentiles. They don't say it like that, but they're like, bruh, we ain't no Jews, we ain't no Hebrews. So, yeah, this is definitely happening. When you go down to verse 7, Isaiah 1:7, it says, your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire. Your land strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate and overthrown by strangers. Ain't that what's happening in Israel, in our land? Oh yeah. Oh, strangers, they're devouring the land. They turn it into the land of homosexuality. Right? That's, they got the biggest gay day parade in Tel Aviv.
There's another verse that talks about like the new moons and the new feast days and stuff.
Where at? Verse 14?
Right.
Right.
That's about like celebrating the Gentiles' holidays and stuff like that.
Well, see what the Most High was going into was that we were so off. He was saying, these things don't mean anything when you do them. It's like we were bringing the sacrifice, like when you read up in verse 11. Somebody read that. Lamar, what are you doing? What are you doing right now?
Social test.
We in class right now, so you got to pay attention. That's on your time. Con? Isaiah 14 and Isaiah 1 and verse 11.
Con. Isaiah.
Y'all got to make sure that when y'all are in class, y'all are paying attention. Everything else outside of class, you do outside of class. Soldier's test, texting, YouTube, MySpace, that all is outside of class. Read.
Isaiah chapter 1.
What's going to happen is when y'all got to answer these questions, you're going to be lost. Y'all should be answering these questions. Some brothers should be able to pop up and drop scriptures on these questions, so you got to pay attention. Go ahead, read.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 11.
Go ahead.
To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Saith the Most High.
Right.
I am full of the burnt offerings of rams.
Yeah, you see, he said, I'm full. Why? Because we were committing so much sin, and then just giving the sacrifices just autopilot, right? Oh yeah, I'm a sin, I'm gonna just give a sacrifice. I'm a sin, I'm gonna give a sacrifice. He said, I'm full of your sacrifices. Go ahead.
And the fat of the fed beasts. And I delight not in the blood of bullocks.
Come on.
Or of lambs.
Read.
Or of goats. Or of he goats.
Right.
When ye come to appear before me, who hath required this at your hand, to tread my courts.
Go ahead.
Bring no more vain oblations.
He said, bring no more of these vain oblations. Meaning that when we sacrifice, because when we were off, when we sacrificed and when we were trying to celebrate feast days and do these things, he said it was vanity. It was for no purpose. Because why? Israel just did things not in the right mind.
Right. Oblation meaning a thing offered or presented in worship or sacred service.
Right. Right. So he said that the sacrifices were vain. He said basically us keeping the feast days when we were in this state of mind, when you read from verse 1 all the way down, Israel in this state of mind, it was vanity. It was of no meaning for us to keep the holy days. He said, don't bring that to me. Go ahead.
Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths.
Go ahead.
The calling of assemblies.
Right.
I cannot away with. It is iniquity. Even the solemn
meeting.
Even the solemn meeting.
Jump to verse 4. And this is why he said that. Jump to verse 4.
Same chapter or
same chapter.
Verse 4. A sinful nation. A people laden with iniquity.
Come on.
A seed of evildoers.
You see that? He said we were evildoers from the seed. Go ahead.
Children that are corrupters.
Read.
They have forsaken the Most High.
That was the whole thing. We forsook the Most High, but then we want to act. We want to act like these nations and be like them. But then we want to come back talking about the Passover. Most High was like, man, that's vanity, because you think it's about the Passover, hair wrap, fringes. You think it's about the vain things, the outward. like we've been hitting on lately, right? That outward appearance, that outward, oh, I'm gonna go keep the feast day, but I'm a murderer on the low. I hate my brother in my heart, but I'm gonna go sit and keep the Passover. Yeah. Most I said that's vanity. You see that? Read on.
They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger.
Yeah, the Most High was angry, so he said, man, it's all vain to me. If y'all ain't doing this in the right mind, in the right state of mind, it's vanity. You might as well not do it.
Got it.
Read.
They are gone away backward.
Come on.
Why should ye be stricken anymore?
Right, now jump back over to verse 14.
Your new moon.
Actually, read down. Read down from verse 4. Read verse 5.
Why should ye be stricken anymore? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick.
He said what?
The whole head is sick.
Yeah, you see that? Talking about Israel. He said the whole head is sick. Now the head leads the body. Right? So if the head is sick, everything that follows it is going to be sick. Go ahead.
And the whole heart faint.
Right. Read on.
From the sole of the foot even unto the head there is no soundness in it.
Right, because why? What keeps us sound? The word, the wisdom, right? That's the strength of stability. But Israel going off and doing what? We chase America. We chase this world. We chase the things. What does it say? The pride of life. All the things that are in the world we chase. So that makes us not sound in the faith, not rooted. Go ahead.
But wounds.
But what?
Wounds.
Yeah, our people are wounded, bruised, battered, and beat. Destroyed for a lack of knowledge. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Hosea 4 and 6. Read.
And bruises. And putrefying sores.
Putrefying sores. You know them sores that are open and pussy? That's how Israel looks, man. That's how our nation looks. Like a big open wound. Just oozing out. Go ahead.
They have not been closed.
Right.
Neither bound up. Neither mollified with ointment.
Right. We haven't been, we're getting there now. As we come back, as the nation comes back, as we recognize who we are and what we are supposed to be doing outside of Christ is black. When you realize, okay, Christ is black, let me get to work. That's where the healing comes. That unity. It says unity is like a precious ointment. What does ointment do? It heals. So now as we start to unify and come together, all this is going to start to be erased. And and when I say erased, not as it never happened, but we'll be getting out of this. This is, this goes right in with Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. So we're slowly coming out. You see that? Then you hit this? Yeah. So this goes right along with it. So yeah, basically in 14, when you were saying your new moons and all these different things, you're basically saying you follow them, but you do it vainly. Because the inward man you do things for that outward appearance. That's how Israel did things. We did things as hypocrites. We had that hypocritical, pharisaic mind where I'm going to do things for the outward, but inwardly, what did he say? You were like a sepulcher full of bones. He said on the outside you were whited, right? You were a white sepulcher, but inside you were full of men's dead bones. Because we thought it was about cleaning the outside of the cup and not the inside out. So you get that, right? Come. Everybody understand that? We have 2 questions online. Go to Samuel. It says, what does 1 Samuel 8:25 mean? 100 foreskins of the Philistines. What's the message if someone can explain, please? Well, it's exactly what you might think it is. He told, go there real quick. This is when Saul was trying to, was he setting up David? Was this the setup with Saul's wife?
1 Samuel
18
and
verse 25. I was just reading this like 2 days ago. Let's see here. Let me go there. 1 Samuel, Saul servant spake. Yeah, so the backstory to this is when Saul, King Saul, found out that his daughter was in love with David. So he was going to use that to try to get David caught up by sending him out to war and basically saying, listen, if you go out and you circumcise these Philistines, you'll be able to give my daughter in marriage. But he was thinking David was going to go out there and fail. So he sent him off to war, and the prize was his daughter. So read Read 1 Samuel 18 and read verse 14. We're going to start there. See, because Saul had that hate in his heart. He had that hate, he had that envy, he had that jealousy for David. He did all the outward things, right? But inside of his heart, the way he felt about David, it was wicked. So Saul was always trying to, you know the story, he was trying to kill David. He tried to kill him a few times. And in this instance, he was trying to set him up. And so we'll read down and then we'll be able to answer your question. We're going to start at verse 14. 1 Samuel 18:14.
1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 14. And David behaved himself wisely.
Go ahead.
In all his ways. And the Most High was with him.
Right.
Wherefore when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David.
Right. See, Saul started to become afraid because he seen that the Most High was working more with David and that spirit was retracting itself away from him. Saul. It tells you that the spirit went on David and the evil spirit the Most High sent to Saul. So he was recognizing like, wait a minute, David is getting all the favor. He's getting all the praise. When he's going to war and battle, Most High is with him. Saul was getting nervous, man, like, damn, this guy's going to take my position. The Most High has more favor with him. Go ahead.
Because he went out and came in before them.
Right.
And Saul said to David, behold, my elder daughter Merab. Did I say that right?
My elder daughter Merab.
Merab. Her will I give thee to wife. Only be thou valiant for me, and fight the Most High's battles.
Right.
For Saul said, let not mine hand be upon him, but let the hand of the Philistines be upon him.
You see that? That's the setup. He said, let not my hand be on him. Let the Philistines' hands be on him. So he sent him out to go fight the Philistines, but thinking that David was going to die. You got to read it one more time. Read verse 17. This is the key.
And Saul said to David, behold, my elder daughter Merab.
Right.
Her will I give thee to wife. Only be thou valiant for me.
Right. He said, be thou valiant. He said, be brave. Now, he knew David's character. It's funny. I was just reading in the Josephus last night about David. Check this out. This is at the end of David's death when he was talking to Solomon. And he was, where was it at? It's book that, chapter that. This is right when he was giving Solomon all the orders of what to do and run the kingdom. Man. But it talked about David's character, man. And it said David was the type of man that he'd be the first one in the battle. You know how those generals, first one in, last one off the field? That was David. And Saul knew that. Saul knew that. So he was like, yeah, be brave for the Most High. Go ahead. I'll find it. Read on.
And fight the Most High's battles.
Right.
For Saul said, let not mine hand be upon him.
Right. He said, let not mine, because before this, Saul was trying to kill him. Saul was throwing javelins at David.
Yep.
Right. David was there playing the harp, getting these demons off him. And it tells you that he would throw the javelin and try to kill him, and then David would have to run away and hide. So now he's saying, okay, well, let not my hand be on him. Let the hand of the Philistines be on him. I'm going to just send him to war. Ain't that what David did with Uriah the Hittite's wife? He sent him to war, knew he was going to get killed, took his wife. Right? So he kind of repeated what Saul tried to do to him. Read on.
But let the hand of the Philistines be upon him. And David said unto Saul, Who am I? And what is my life, or my father's family in Israel?
Right.
That I should be son-in-law to the king.
Yeah, David was like, man, who am I to be your son-in-law?
God.
Even though this man tried to kill him multiple times, even though he knew this guy had an evil eye towards him, he still held him in the highest regard. Go ahead.
Verse 19. But it came to pass at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given unto Adriel,
right,
the Methelonite. How you say
Where
that?
you at?
Verse
Adriel,
19.
Meholonite.
Meholonite.
Yeah.
Con.
Meholonite.
That she was given unto Adriel, the Meholonite, to wife. And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. And they told Saul. And the thing pleased him.
Right, so here goes Saul's other daughter that loved David. She actually loved David. He was just going to give David the first one. But he basically tricked him. He said, listen, go fight. I'll give you the daughter. It didn't happen. So now here comes his other daughter that she loved David. Saul got wind of it, and he tried to use this as a way to get David out of there. Go ahead, read.
Verse 21. And Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a snare to him.
Right.
And that the hand of the Philistines may be against him.
Right. So it's telling you right here. He sent them in to the Philistines so that they can kill him. For the promise of his daughter. Go ahead. Of Saul's daughter. Go ahead.
Wherefore Saul said to David, Thou shalt this day be my son-in-law, and the one of the twain.
Read on.
Verse 22. And Saul commanded his servants, saying, Commune with David secretly, and say, Behold, the king hath delight in thee, and all his servants love thee. Now therefore be the king's son-in-law. And Saul's servant spake those words in the ears of David. And David said, Seem it into you a light thing to be king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man,
right,
and lightly esteemed.
Go ahead.
And the servants of Saul told him, saying, On this manner spake David. And Saul said, Thus shall ye say to David, The king desireth not any dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines.
Right, so the foreskins. So basically he was telling David to go out and circumcise these men. That's what it's talking about. To circumcise the foreskin of these men. The foreskin is around the man's genitalia. So if you didn't understand what it meant, that's what it's talking about. What's that?
And that's after he killed them, right?
Is that, you said that's after he killed them?
Is that when he circumcised them? Or
Well, it doesn't go into it. So
isn't that the enemy? Wasn't he fighting against them?
He was fighting against them, so more than likely they wasn't going to do this willingly.
Right.
Right.
Verse 27 it says.
Oh, let's read it on. Let's read on.
Yeah, verse 27.
To be avenged of the king's enemies.
Right.
But Saul thought to make David fall by the hands of the Philistines.
Right. So he was like, go circumcise these 100 men. I'll give you the daughter. But Saul's mind was that David was going to go fight this war and failed. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law.
Yeah, he didn't even think about it. He just hopped on his horse and was gone. When you read in the Josephus, it said he didn't think twice. It said he hopped on his horse and he was gone. He took him and a few men, and they were gone. He didn't think about the danger. He didn't think about, oh, I can't do it. He just rode off like, okay, I'm gonna get this wife, right? And I'm gonna be the son-in-law to the king. It's like, man, I'm gonna do it. Go ahead.
And the days were not expired. Verse 27. Wherefore David arose and went, he and his men, and slew of the Philistines 200 men.
Right, you see that? So he killed 200 instead of 100. He brought back double. Go ahead.
And David brought their foreskins, And they gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law.
Right.
And Saul gave him Michal, his daughter, to wife.
Right. So that's what that is going into. That's what that was going into. Saul was basically trying to kill David as usual, and it just did. Remember, it said the Lord was with David. So Saul wasn't recognizing that you're trying to put evil on this man or put him into a bad predicament, but the Most High, it says the Most High guides our steps. So there was really nothing that Saul can do against David. Everybody understand that? Con. Next question. Acts chapter 238. Is Acts 2:38 talking about Israel or everyone? Let's go there real quick. Right. Yeah, this is talking about the people in knowledge. 2:38. Where are we at? Acts 2?
Verse 38.
Oh, 38. I went to 20. Read.
Acts chapter 2, verse 38. Then Peter said unto them, repent and be baptized every one of you in the name of Yahweh Mashiach.
Right.
For the remission of sins.
Right.
And ye shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost.
Right. Verse 30. You got to remember, the one thing about Peter was Peter didn't deal with the Gentiles. And it's easy. Let's see who Peter was talking to. Go to verse 21.
Come.
Go to 22 tells it.
Verse 21.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Most High shall be saved.
Right? It says, whosoever shall call on the name of the Most High shall be saved. The Christians love this one. Right? They love that whosoever. Oh, that's everybody. That's everybody. They John 3:16 in it, but read down.
Ye men of Israel.
Ye men of everyone.
Ye men of Israel. Hear these words.
You said that? It says ye men of Israel. So that's who Peter was dealing with. The men of Israel, remember. Israel was scattered throughout all the nations, but I'm trying to really understand this 38. It says that Peter said unto them, repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Yahweh Shai, for the remission of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. Right, verse 39, for the promise is unto you. Who was the promise unto? Who was the promise unto? The world? Right, it tells you right here. Verse 21, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh Shai shall be saved. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Remember, Peter wasn't dealing with the Gentiles. That's why I said him and Paul, they were at odds, because Paul was trying to deal with the Gentiles. Why? Because he knew that Israel was scattered amongst the Gentiles. Peter was like, nah, you ain't supposed to be dealing with them. You're supposed to be keeping company with them. But Paul said, I have to withstand him into the face, right? I had to get up on this guy, and we had to deal with it. We had to work it out. So Peter went and dealt with Israel that he knew was Israel. Paul went and dealt with Israel in a Gentile state of mind. So this was dealing with Israel. This was dealing with Israel. Let's see here. Yeah, this was talking about Israel. I mean, everybody clear on that? Y'all need more scriptures? I mean, there's a lot. Huh?
Romans 9:4.
We go to Romans 9 verse 1. Read Romans 9 verse 1. Right.
Romans.
You might as well just read that because it's going to hit both. Yeah. Go ahead. Read Romans 9:1.
Romans chapter 9 verse 1.
Right.
I say the truth in Christ.
Come on.
I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost.
Right. Go ahead.
That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart.
Right. Go ahead.
For I could wish that myself were
accursed.
Salah. Accursed from Christ. For my brethren.
For my who?
My brethren.
For my brethren. Now, who was his brethren? Now, remember, Paul had the dual citizenship. He operated as a Roman, but he also knew that physically, by blood, he knew he was a Hebrew. Go ahead, read on. So which ones was he talking about? The Romans or the Israelites? Read.
My kinsmen.
My what?
My kinsmen.
You look into that word kin, right? It's talking about family through blood. Go ahead.
According to the flesh.
You see that? His kinsmen according to the flesh. Read on.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Israelites.
Right. See, the whole thing, it was always about Israel. It was always about, say, like when Paul said, I became all things to all men, so I could save some. He wasn't talking about being all things to all men to the white man. They were already who the hell they were. But our people were mixed up. Our people were mixed up with the Romans, the Galatians, the Grecians, the Philistines. We were mixed up in that. So the agenda was to win them. Go ahead, read on.
To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory.
Read.
And the covenant.
To whom pertaineth the what?
The adoption.
Right. We pertaineth the adoption. Go ahead, what else?
And the glory. And the covenant.
Right.
And the givings of the law.
Read.
And the service of the Most High.
Right. These are all the promises, man. It says, for the promise is unto you. The promise was given to Israel. Read.
And the promises.
And the what?
And the promises.
Right here. And the promises. Go ahead.
Whose are the fathers?
Right.
And of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
Wait. He came for who?
And of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
So you can destroy, with Romans chapter 9, verse 1 down to verse 5, you can destroy a pastor's whole logic. Just on that word flesh. Ain't no spiritual Israel. Ain't no the Gentiles get salvation. Said Christ came for those pertaining to the flesh. Right? Who was Christ's flesh? Well, Hebrews 7 and 14 tells you that he sprung out of Judah. It's evident that our Lord sprung out of Judah. Right? The tribe not concerning the priesthood. So he sprung out of the head tribe, the tribe of Judah. So Yahushai's flesh was them of the Jews. That's who he came for. Paul was reiterating that. Go to Acts real quick, just to show. Go to Acts 19. Go to Acts 9. No, not 19. Go to Acts 21 and 18.
God. Acts chapter 21, verse 19.
Right? Go ahead, read.
And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things the Most High had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry.
Right, so when you read up in the previous verse, it was talking about Paul. He was giving this ministry to the Gentiles, but who were these Gentiles? Go ahead.
And when they heard it, they glorified the Most High.
Come on.
And said unto him, Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews.
See, the Gentiles, they stated in the beginning, then they referred to them as Jews. Why? Read.
There are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law.
Come on, read verse 21.
And they are informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews.
That you do what?
That thou teachest all the Jews.
Come on.
Which are among the Gentiles.
Read.
To forsake Moses.
Right, so Paul was teaching the Jews that were amongst the Gentiles. Because Deuteronomy 28 told us that we would be scattered in the four corners of the earth, assuming different identities, speaking different languages, right? Again, I always use the analogy. We do it now here in America, right? You go to, 9 out of 10 black men think that they're American. Proud to be an American. Good old English, right? They don't know that they're Hebrews, and they don't care. Going back to that Isaiah, they don't even consider. You tell them, hey, nah, man, you're an Israelite, you're a Hebrew. If your people came over here on slavery, nah, I'm an American, I'm proud. I'm proud to be an American, right? So it's the same concept. It's nothing far-fetched, it's the same concept. But everybody, y'all clear on that, right? We go do that a lot. But yeah, that was talking about Israel. Let's see here. I have a question, family. I have a question. If the Most High is our Father, then what does that make Jacob? I'm not trying to sound dumb, but I need clarity. Well, the Most High, I'm trying to really understand. If the Most High is our Father, what does that make Jacob? Well, the Most High, he's our spiritual father. He's our spiritual father. Jacob is the flesh father of the 12 tribes, so he's our forefather in the flesh. But the Most High is our spiritual father. And what do I mean by he's our spiritual father? Well, go to, what you got? You got something? No. Where you want to go? Go to, I was going to go to, it says, many are the sons of God. Okay, they're not the Spirit. That's Romans, right? Okay. Get that for me. It's in Romans. Because what makes us the children of God?
Following His commandments.
So say it again.
Following His commandments.
Right, following the commandments. Watch, we're gonna get it. I'm just reading it too. Romans 8. Go to Romans 8:14. Yep.
8:14.
Yes, that's the one.
God. Romans chapter 8, verse 14.
Go ahead.
For as many as are led by the Spirit of the Most High, they are the sons of the Most High.
They are the what?
Sons of the Most High.
Right. So to be the children of the Most High, we got to be led by the Spirit of the Most High. So yeah, the Most High is he's our spiritual father, right? He's the one that gave the decree for us to be created by Yahushua and the angels. Jacob is you need a fleshly father. Don't get it twisted. You need a fleshly father to be here on earth. You got to come through that seed, just like Christ did, right? Just like Christ came through the seed, and Christ had a lineage. When you read in Matthew's, the first chapter, when you read in Luke, Christ had a lineage that he came through, a line, a seed that he came through. So, just like Yahushua, the Most High is his spiritual father, but Joseph was his earthly father. So, I mean, everybody clear on that, right?
God.
You gotta have the two. You gotta have both. You can't. You're not gonna be on earth without an earthly father. You would never be here. You gotta. Every man, woman, child comes through that seed. Blood, right? Water. Which, you read in John. Oh, we can go there real quick. Go to John. Go to John. Let's see here. First John. Let's see. Yeah, 1 John chapter 5. 5 and verse 6.
God. 1 John. No. Salak.
1 John 5 and 6.
That's St. John.
Yeah, you got to have the blood, the water. You got to have these things for life.
God.
So just like Yahushua had an earthly father, and then he had the Most High as his spiritual father, it's the same thing as us. Jacob is our earthly father, but he's our forefather. Because then you have your earthly father who laid with your mother, and that's how we come about. Read that.
1 John chapter 5, verse 6. This is he that came by water and blood.
He came by what?
By water and blood.
Speaking of Yahushua, go ahead.
Even Yahushua Mashiach. Not by water. Salah. Not by water only.
Not by what?
Water only.
Right. See, it wasn't just water only. You got to have the blood, the water. You got to have these things for life. Go ahead.
But by water and blood. And it is the Spirit that beareth witness.
You got to have the Spirit. Go ahead.
Because the Spirit is truth.
Right. So just go ahead and show, like, you know, without these three things, you wouldn't have life. You wouldn't have life here on earth. these three things have to happen, but they come through that spiritual. Oh, excuse me. You gotta have a carnal or earthly father. Y'all get that? Con. Hopefully you get that online. If not, we can get some more scriptures for you. Let's see, there's a lot of things. So the whole point was Saul was trying to kill David. Yeah, Saul was trying to, going back to the last question, Saul was always trying to kill David. Can you share the scripture with me to teach a Christian using Acts 16 and verse 1? Let's go to Acts 16 and 1.
Let's go.
His father being a what? Oh, right, but that's, you got the Zondervan? Yeah. You got the Zondervan? Right. You got one?
Oh, no.
Go to, read that. Acts 16 and verse 1.
Acts chapter 16, verse 1. Then came he to Derbe and Lystra. And behold, a certain disciple was there, named Timotheus.
Right, let's talk about Timothy, the disciple, right, that Paul taught. Go ahead.
The son of a certain woman,
Right,
which was a Jewess.
right.
And
She was a Jewess, so his mom was a Jew. Go ahead.
And believed, but his father was a Greek.
Now, don't get confused. Don't get confused with that word Greek. All right? Don't get thrown off by they said, oh, his father was a Greek. Remember, Paul was a Roman. Paul's father was a Roman, right? But why did Paul state his nationality in Romans 11 and 1 as a Benjamite, a Hebrew? Because again, we had Israelites just like you have today. You had Israelites in that time claiming to be Greek, claiming to be Roman, claiming to be these different nationalities that they weren't. Why? Because they bought into the nationality, they paid for it. And remember, I'm going to say it again, we were scattered amongst the heathen, like it says in Psalm 106. We were scattered and learned their works. So we're going to look that up real quick, Greek. Well, yeah, look up the word Hellenist. We're going to be in the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. Hold it up for them. Now, this is a dictionary. Remember, it's not the Bible. But this is the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. It's going to explain what it means by Greek. Go ahead, read that.
It says Hellenist. It says non-Greeks,
right,
who spoke Greek.
Right, go ahead.
A term used especially of Jews who made Greek their tongue.
Right. That's what was going on here with Timothy. Timothy's dad was a Hebrew, just like his mom. But his dad adopted that Greek language, those Greek customs. Yeah.
Yeah, his dad had to be a Jew, because remember, we just read Romans chapter 9 verse 1 through 4, and it gave you the promises, the covenants, all that was pertaining unto the Jews. So if Timothy's father was not a Jew, then Timothy wouldn't be a Jew himself. So he wouldn't have been able to have written the whole book of Timothy's and it still happened in the Bible. He wouldn't have been able to have been a prophet, because that was only ordained for the Israelites.
Yeah, remember, we read it in Romans. The promises, the covenants, the judgments, those were all given to Israel. It says the service was given only to Israel. Remember, Timothy was doing a service. What was he doing? Wasn't Timothy sent to teach? Yeah, so there was no heathen men. There weren't these other nations going out and teaching Israel. It wasn't happening. Paul wasn't going to do one thing and then contradict what he said here in the book of Acts. It wasn't going to happen like that. Let's see here.
I got a question now.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Right. See, when you look at the word Greek here in this scripture, when you go into the Strong's, It says a Hellen, Grecian, or inhabitant of Hellas. By extension, a Greek-speaking person. Y'all see that? So then when you look up Hellenist, it tells you who that was. It was a Jew that adopted the Greek language.
Can I get one too?
Yeah.
You got 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 15. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 15.
Was your question, Major, on or was it another topic?
No, it was on topic. It was in reference to what you was explaining, as far as like.
Oh, you going there, huh? I'm listening.
As far as Timothy, I know you said Paul spoke his registry stating that he was from the tribe of Benjamin. Does it state anywhere in this chapter or anywhere else Timothy speaking his registry at all? No.
Timothy didn't. Titus didn't. Yeah, they didn't have to. They didn't have to because everything that they were doing was only for the Hebrews, only for the Jews. So there was no need for them to state the registry. Paul had to do it to show certain things. Paul was checking fools, man.
Right.
Because he was stating this registry, but then he was coming back talking about. Remember, he was coming back talking about all the works he was doing.
Right.
Beaten by the Jews, saved 3 stripes. He was talking about, man, he was going in. But he was making a point that if y'all think y'all can boast, I can boast even more.
Right, I remember when.
You see that? Because why? The work that I'm putting in, my faith, I've seen Yahweh shine. He's seen Christ. But remember, Paul was on both sides of the pendulum where he said he caused havoc in the church. He was destroying the Hebrews. He was putting them in jail, killing them. But then he had to come back and show them. Listen, that wasn't the right way. What I was doing wasn't right. This is the way to believe. Right? So he had to go back and show, he was dealing with Pharisees also. He was dealing with these other Israelites that were puffed up. Remember, he said, knowledge puffeth up, but charity edified. But if you want to talk about having knowledge, I got the knowledge. If you want to talk about doing the work, I'm doing the work. I've been shipwrecked. I've been stoned. I've been persecuted. I've been this. I've been that. Y'all ain't doing nothing. So he kind of had to boast on them and really put them in. He was all really putting everybody in check. That was what remember, he's dealing with. Remember, he's dealing with these 7 churches.
Right.
And he's not there at every time. He's not omnipotent where he's at every church at once.
Right.
That's why he's coming back writing these letters like, I'm hearing some of y'all are puffed up. I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. Wait a minute. We bring you back down to earth. You see that? So he had to state his registry and state his works. Right? But don't Yahweh Shai say when you do your arms, when you do this, don't let nobody know? But he was doing those things for a reason. To put these men, to put these minds. You got to do that, man. You got to do that. Some young cats get puffed up, right? They get a little prideful, right? The Most High, gives them a talent, and they're using it for the truth. But then they forget that the Most High gave them that talent. So what happens? Oh, that's me. I'm doing that. I'm making that happen. You got to put the young man back in his place. Sometimes that got to happen. So that's what Paul was doing. All right? Go ahead. Where we at? Where were you going?
Oh, that was it.
1 Maccabees. Yeah, read that.
1 Maccabees.
No, we didn't read it. Go to 1 Maccabees. Yeah, read that. Read up. Read up real quick. Read verse 11.
1 Maccabees 1:11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Go ahead.
That are round about us.
Right.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right. So there were Israelites that were wicked. They said, listen, let's go back and make a covenant with the heathen. Let's go back and be like them. We were mingled. It's like Martin Luther King. What was his thing? Let's segregate. No, let's not desegregate. Right? Let's drink from the same water fountain as white. Right? I have a dream that one day my son is going to be able to rub elbows and catch lice from Esau. That's what he was asking. But think about it. Was it a good thing for us to desegregate? That was one of the worst things that ever happened to us. We were better off being by ourselves. Now we running around catching bed bugs, head lice. You know, black people supposed to get head lice. You getting fleas, skin ticks, and that's just the carnal little things that Esau runs around with. But now you grasp onto their mentality of doing things. Now you watch them like, oh, that's cool. Let me be a homo. Oh, that looks fun. Let me eat that and drink that. We made this covenant with them on a physical, intellectual, spiritual level. Go ahead.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well.
Right.
Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Now, the ordinance of the heathen, those weren't good ordinances. These dudes was having sex with animals, men on men action, worshiping other gods, defiled foods. It was nothing pertaining to what the Most High wanted. Read on. Whereupon they built a place of exercise. They built the gymnasium. Go ahead. At Jerusalem. According to the customs of the heathen. Go ahead. And made themselves uncircumcised. Yeah, they were literally sewing skin back on. They were literally making themselves uncircumcised by sewing skin and trying to make, y'all can imagine it. They were trying to make themselves uncircumcised. They would literally try to put the skin back on and walk around like, see, we're just like y'all, Grecians. We're just like y'all. Now, remember, the Maccabees is before the time of Timothy, before the time of Paul. The Maccabees is still Old Testament, if you want to call it that, before Christ. So, if we had men that were Israelites, that were adopting the Greek Roman customs in this time, imagine how deep we were into it as a people. Again, how long we been in America? 450 years. Yep. We deep in bed with America as a people. That's why it's so hard for us to get out and get out of the mentality that we can be without America. We can live without this society. Absolutely. It's hard. That's why when it comes to the multiple ribs talk, it's like, the white man didn't teach me that. That can't be right. When it comes to celebrating birthdays, well, the white man celebrates birthdays, so I got to celebrate birthdays. When it comes to his holidays, all the things that they do, we've been doing it for so long, it's now a part of us. Which religion? The religion, Christianity. We've been Christians for 450 years. Fine. So now when it's time to pull them out of Christianity, it's so embedded, it's so ingrained. It's a part of a person's biochemistry. Fine. It's in the DNA now. And a lot of these customs are in a person's DNA. Okay. The only thing that's going to be able to break that down is the word. And it takes time. But look at our people. We're slowly, one by one, brick by brick, class by class, scripture by scripture, waking our people up. Okay. Y'all see that, right? So you got to see the level that we went to at this time, to where cats was just like, yeah, I'm Greek. Yep, I'm a Roman. They weren't even holding to their true nationality of Hebrew, or Hebrew Israelites, from the tribe of this tribe or the tribe of that tribe. Remember, Paul had to be taught who he was, man. He had to be shown. He had to be shown. So we got to remember that. Don't be naive and think like, oh, that was just specific for that time. It's happening now. It's happening now. So y'all understand that, right? Fine. Everybody clear? Clear. Let's see. That's off though, coming from Saul. Was he trying to mock David or something? Oh, going back. No, Saul, remember, going back to the question of Saul, go back to Samuel. You got to remember what was happening with Saul, man. Saul had a rebellious spirit on him. Where's it at? Saul had a rebellious spirit, and the Most High rejected Saul. Saul got rejected, man, almost right away. His second mission, he failed. Most High said, it repented me to have made Saul king. So from that point on, these evil spirits, was that
15 and 11?
Let's go there. Is it 15 and 11?
It repented me that I have set up.
Right. Now I was looking. There was another one. I'm looking for where it said the evil spirit visited. The Lord sent an evil spirit on Saul. So hold on. Let's see here. Find that one for me.
1 Samuel 16 and 14.
You got it? Read that. There it is.
Yeah. Lamont, read it.
Read it.
Come. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 14.
16 and 14.
So 16, verse 14.
Go ahead.
But the spirit of the Most High departed from Saul.
Right.
And an evil spirit from the Most High troubled him.
Right. You see that? So this was going on with Saul ever since, even before the 15th chapter. You got to read. Let's say, yeah, transgress for over. Saul said this verse. Yeah, basically from the 15th chapter when the Most High told him to go kill all the Amalekites and don't save anything, and Saul was basically like, well, I'm going to save the good stuff. And then he blamed the people. That rebellion that was in Saul. Rebellion, man, it led to him trying to murder David at the end of the day. So it wasn't that he was trying to mock David. He was just rebellious against the Most High, and he hated the fact that the scriptures say, covet earnestly the best gifts. Right?
Got it.
That's what Saul should have been doing. But Saul was covetous and jealous over David's obedience. When you really get in depth in that story and start reading, even when David had Saul dead to rights, Saul was like, man, what kind of man would have his enemy, right, at his mercy and spear him? And David was like, first of all, you ain't my enemy. That's first and foremost. And then I can't touch the Most High's anointed. David always had that respect. Where Saul he didn't have that. He didn't have that for David. He didn't have that for the Most High. All right? Let's see here. Come. We've been here too long. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Come. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I mean, any other questions? Good time. We start class at 6. Yeah, we can. Let's go into the topic. If there's nothing else online, nothing in class, we can. Yeah, let's go into the topic. What you going over today, young priest?
So we're going over, just the mind of a babe. Just the mind of a babe and how a babe thinks and what makes them a babe. So yeah, let's go into it. It's going to be Ecclesiastes 37, verse 27.
And really, think about it. And I do have to say this. Yeah, we're going into the mind of a babe, right? Now, doesn't the Most High tell us to be babes? Who will be the greatest in the kingdom? The one that comes in the mind of a babe. The mind of a child. Why? Why is that important? Why did Yahweh Shai say that?
Because you haven't been tainted. Your thought process is pure. Your outlook is pure.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt. There's trust. Mm-hmm. You're open to receive and not reject.
Right. Your mind is malleable. A baby. When you look at a baby, when you look at a newborn baby, they're simple. Sleep, feed, change. And then what happens as they mature and get older? The things that they do are dependent on what?
The parent.
The parent. Because think about it. How can a 2-year-old child recognize the golden arches? They in the car, they look down, McDonald's, yay! Happy Meals, right?
Right.
How the hell do they know what a Happy Meal is? But they're 2 years old. Well, it's what they've been taught. How do they know about Christmas and Easter and New Year's and all these different concepts? It's because it's what you put in that babe from that youth up, right? So we going in this topic, we're showing that the babe mentality, and that we're not supposed to be babes in the sense of still moving around like children in the mind, tossed to and fro, talking like children, thinking like children.
Doing the Most High's enterprise.
Right.
Most High's work.
But we're supposed to, yes, be as babes that are ready to listen, hear, ready to be molded. We're supposed to be like that, but not like actual kicking and screaming emotional little children. So we got to make that distinction very clear, because then they'll be like, well, the scriptures say come as babes. See, I'm being a babe. Yeah, but the Bible says as babes that desire the sincere milk of the word. 1 Peter 2:2. So what does the sincere milk of the word do? That you may grow thereby. Grow into what? An even bigger babe?
Wow.
30-year-old child?
Wow.
Right? What do they call you? A man baby? What do they call you?
Man child.
A man child. Right? But really, the mind was supposed to grow out of that childlike mentality. Childlike mentality and grow into that man or that woman. So I want to make that clear before we go in, because I don't want no confusion. Y'all understand that, right? Come, go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 37, verse 27. What's up?
Come.
What the baby spirit?
Baby spirit.
Baby Jesus.
Ecclesiastes 37 and verse 27. Go ahead.
My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it.
Major, what does that mean to you?
Honestly, I wouldn't like read it for comprehension. I was just reading it out.
Read it one more time.
Again. Come.
Oh yeah.
My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. To me, I would say you got to prove yourself as far as like your worth, and anything that is unrighteous or that is not of God, don't partake into those things. Don't give into them.
God, especially being the truth. Lamar, what does that mean to you?
Don't do what's wrong.
That's it? Jermaine, what does that mean to you?
Can we read that over again?
Ecclesiasticus
37 verse 27.
Okay.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 verse 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it.
See, this is the thing. Especially us being in the truth, we know what's wrong and we know what's right. Why? Because we have the laws of the Most High. We got countless classes that we've sat in. We've got countless YouTube videos. We got countless elders that we've spoken to, that we can speak to. That's a phone call away, or a house away, or a drive away, whatever the case might be. We got our husbands that we can talk to. We got our elder sisters that we can talk to. So, for the most part, we know what's right and wrong being in the truth. But see, this is the thing. It says, prove your soul in your life, right? So, we have to prove and see literally everything. Okay, if I'm in a situation with my husband, is this how, can I talk to him like this? Can I play with him like this? Can I be with him like this? Because how is he going to take it? So you have to literally prove literally everything with your kids. Is this child more lazy? Does this child pay attention more? Does this child not pay attention? What does this child needs? What do I need? So you prove literally everything. If it's a new job, you prove the people around you. Can I show up 5 minutes late? Can I not show up 5 minutes late? How can I speak with this person? If I'm in school and I'm dealing with a teacher, how am I supposed to be with this teacher? So you could be a babe. You can be a babe in so many different aspects. The Most High constantly puts us in situations where we're new to it, where you're a baby to it. But the scripture says, what? Read from the top.
My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it.
Because see, we're in the truth. We know right from wrong when it comes to the Most High. But we can still do evil. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 12. Because see, you can still do evil even in being in the truth. But the thing is this, What does a baby not have when it comes to doing evil? They don't know how to judge situations. They don't know how to judge people. They don't have the proper discernment. They're not looking at things. They look at things at a very surface level, very carnal level. So whatever comes to their mind, whatever comes to however way they feel, that's just how they operate. That's just how they move. But see, we have the scriptures, so we know what's lawful and what's not lawful. But there's some lawful things that you got to prove your soul and see, man, do I need this or do I not need this? Is this hurting me or is this helping me? 1 Corinthians 6 and 12, go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12. All things are lawful unto me.
Yeah, all things are lawful unto us. Go ahead.
But all things are not expedient.
Go ahead.
All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any.
It's like being in class. It's like being in class. Yeah, you can be on your phone. It's lawful to be on your phone. But is it the time to be on your phone during class?
Or it's lawful to do your soldier's test, but is it the time to do it in class? It says all things. Read it again.
God. All things are lawful unto me.
Right. You're doing something lawful.
God.
Go ahead.
But all things are not expedient.
Yeah, but is that the thing that's needed at this time? Go ahead.
All things are lawful for me.
Again, it's lawful, right?
God.
It's lawful. Being on your phone during class. I mean, we can't jump out off the podium and beat you for being on your phone. And literally, like, on your phone, not looking up a word, but on your phone doing something else that has nothing to do with class. We can't beat you for that. We can't jump off the podium and kick you out the class. We ain't going to do that. Go ahead.
But I will not be brought under the power of any.
But see, you got to know what's good for you. You got to prove yourself, like the previous scripture said. Is it good for you to do something other than class while you're in class? Well, the proving is this. When it's time for you to apply the things that you learned in class, what happens? Oh, I didn't hear that. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, you become this forgetful hearer. So now you're proving the things in your life just in one little instance and saying, damn, well, is it an evil thing for me to be doing something other than class in class? Yeah. Yeah. Because the result is you miss the key little details. You missed that scripture. You forgot to write that down. Now your notes are off.
And the Most High tests you on it.
And then the Most High, that right after we say shalom, right? Right after we say shalom and pray, what happens? We went over a class on arguing and dealing with your husband or dealing with your wife. Right after we say shalom, then what happens? You right there arguing because you missed that. You missed what was said because you were occupied in something else. So you see how it works? Y'all with us?
God.
Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23.
It's Friday, so everybody's tired.
So this is the thing, man. This is the thing. This is how you can tell too, because a baby that lacks discernment lacks proper judgment. So just with what you were just saying, the baby can't discern when to do things, when not to do things, when to say things, when not to say things, how to say things, what to say. Baby can't discern any of that. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23. Listen, we got 3 readers in here. Major can't be the only one reading. 3 readers. 1 Corinthians 10, 23.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23.
Go ahead.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
Yeah, all things, repeating again. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. Read.
All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
Yeah, all things don't edify. And this is the definition of edify. Edify means to instruct and improve the mind and knowledge, and particularly in moral and religious knowledge, in faith and holiness, to build in a literal sense. Again, edify means to instruct and improve the mind and knowledge, generally, and particularly in moral and religious knowledge and faith and holiness, to build in a literal sense. So when you prove your soul in this life, whatever arena, anything that you're put in, yeah, some things are lawful. But the thing is, not all things are expedient. Like it says, some things are lawful, some things edify not. Some things ain't gonna build. Some things is not, is gonna be lacking morally at the time. Some things is not gonna improve your mind. Some things is not needed for the time. So that's where the discernment and the proper judgment comes into play. Go to Romans chapter 7, verse 19.
And what baby has discernment? What 3-year-old you know knows how to discern times? Like right now, we got kids sitting in class, right?
God.
Right now it's time for them to shut up and be quiet, but guess what? They don't know how to discern the time. They don't understand what's needed at the time. They think it's playtime all the time, right?
Right.
Right. They think it's time to talk, but it's time to listen. Because children, babes, they don't have no discernment, no proper judgment. Remember, we got to get out of that babe mind state of, well, I want it when I want it and I want it now. It's like my son. If you left it up to him, he just eat popsicles all day. And he's like, but I ate. Yeah, but it was popsicles, bro. It was sugar and water. But I ate. He was just like, yeah, but I ate something. Like, what'd you eat? A popsicle? Yeah, but what else? Oh, no, I'm good. I just want a popsicle. He'll wake up. Can I get... He'll wake up and like, can I have a popsicle? It's like, bro, you eat breakfast yet. Drink you some water. Do something. He's like, but that's food. He just thinks because he can put it in his mouth and chew it, it's food. Because the judgment, the discernment, and then his mind is like, well, I want that now. I want it now because it is food. But it's not nutritious. It's not healthy. And too much of it is going to get you sick. A babe, a child. See, that's a child's mind. They don't think about the repercussion. They don't think about the future of their actions. They just think about, well, I just want 2 ribs. I want both. It's lawful. Con. It is. You're right. It is lawful. But how about doing things? How about doing things decently and in order? The scriptures say, "Be a man of one wife first, and then when you have quote unquote mastered the one, then you move on to the 2. We know it's lawful. There's a lot of things that are lawful that brothers and sisters don't need. But that babe mind, that baby thinking is like, well, I want it. I need it. And I can have it. See? And then what happens? What happens? You go out, you get it, and then you come back like, damn, you're right. You were right, brother. You were right, Ak. You were right. You gotta see that proving your soul in your life, man, that's trial by error. So it's not always a good thing. Because what happens with that trial by error when you're starting to prove yourself and prove your soul, what's really happening to your spirit? It's getting broken, it's getting worn down, it's getting used, it's getting abused. And then now, when it's really time for you to present yourself and give yourself, it's like, no, I don't want to give myself because the last time I did that, I got hurt, I got used. Many have refused to lend because of other men's ill dealings. Ecclesiastes 7:4, right? So you got to see this proving your soul. Don't be like a child where you tell a child, don't touch the stove, and they're like, why? Now he got to run around with a burn mark for 3-4 weeks. And then he gets to look back at the scar, and he has to remember that way, by the scars and by the hurt and by the pain. So that proving yourself, as we go through, you don't always have to go through the trials that way. Right? Do you? You got to get your ass kicked? No, we don't have to. That's the point. That's the point of this class, to show you don't have to catch the whooping that is there for the hard-headed, stiff-necked, rebellious. You don't got to catch that. There's just a few key things you got to do. And we're going to go through them. So the proving your soul is not always a great thing. Like, see, I'm proving my soul. Brother's going to start using that one. The scripture said to prove my soul and see what's evil. So does that mean you got to do evil? Hell no. Does that mean you got to touch evil to know it? No. Do the things that are good. Do what's good and no evil shall touch you. No evil shall come to you. That's what the Bible said. I mean, right? That's what my La Biblia says. The Biblia. Right? Where you at? Read on.
That's how Romans 7.
Read it.
Romans 7, verse 9.
You got to pick up. If he jumps off, you got to pick up for him. Read on.
7 verse 19.
Verse 19?
Uh-huh.
Verse 19. For the good that I would, I do not.
And this is the thing, man. That's why you got to prove your soul. And that's why you got to have that proper judgment and that proper discernment. Read it from the top.
For the good that I would, I do not.
Because the old man, it's very easy to fall into that old man, which is the babe, especially now being in the truth. The old ways is the grown-up that's in you. The babe is that new man that's in you, that's forming. So when you want to do that good, you don't always do it. Why? Because you're still a babe. You're a baby battling against this old man and the old man's ways. And you're trying to get up off that. Read.
But the evil which I would not, that I do.
You're still stuck battling. Still stuck battling. But the thing is this. Like I was saying earlier, you got countless YouTube videos, countless classes, countless brothers, sisters, elders. You got it. You got the help that you need to help you to grow and help mold your mind from this baby mind into an adult mind. In any arena that you're in. When you go to your job, they got that what is it, the orientation? That orientation is to help train you so you can get the understanding of what you're doing. See, the Most High doesn't just put us in a war without giving us the tools for the battle. He don't just do that. But the thing is that we got to start using those tools that we got to overcome it. Next scripture is going to be
read on. Verse 24.
Verse 24. Go to verse 24.
Verse 24.
And this is just the opening. This is just the introduction to go into it. It's just the opening. Because the first thing that the baby lacks is discernment. When a baby's born, they don't even know how to see till they're at least like 6 weeks. So the humbling process that we have to take on is that, man, we do not know anything. When a baby's fresh out the womb, they can't see, but they can hear, but they don't even know what they're hearing. You're looking dead at the baby, you're talking to the baby, and she's not even looking at you, or he's not even looking at you. They just looking all around you. So we got to humble ourselves to see that, man, we really don't know anything. The Most High giveth grace unto the humble, but he resisteth the proud. One man planted, another watered, the Most High give the increase. But only if you're humble. Only if you're humble will you get the increase. Read verse 24.
Verse 24. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?
Yeah, who's going to deliver you from this old man? We know it's going to be Christ. But who's going to deliver you from the body of the old man and bring you into that baby? That baby that you need to be. Because only the baby is going to enter into the kingdom. So from there, let's go ahead and go into it. Go to 1 Corinthians. No, Salah. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 37, verse 14. Because the first thing you got to do, you got to be able to conquer your mind. The mind got to get conquered. Ecclesiastes 37, verse 14. Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 37, verse 14. For a man's mind is sometimes wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sit above in a high tower.
Now think about 7 watchmen sitting above on a high tower. They see everything. It's like I'm watching the Narco series, and Pablo Escobar has his He got watchmen everywhere. Whenever he's making a move, he got the kids that radio in and let them know everything that's going on. So, think about it. If Pablo wasn't to listen to these people, how would Pablo look? He wouldn't have been able to have ran for as long as he ran and escaped every time with his family like he was able to. He had lookouts everywhere. The kids were lookouts. So it didn't matter where the police officers or the DEA was trying to come to get him. They couldn't get him because of the watchmen that he had. But read that scripture from the top.
Con. For a man's mind is sometimes wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen.
And then just watching that series, man, you could see Pablo, even with the watchmen, even with his counselors, because Pablo even had his counselors. He had his cousin right there with him, letting him know, man, don't do that. That's a bad move. Stop running to be a politician. You're going to put them on you. But Pablo's mind, with all these people, even the cartel members he had around him, he didn't even want to listen to that. He still went ahead and ran, and now the whole movie, he's just running. Well, the whole documentary, his whole life, he got to run. Because he had all these people telling him, don't do that, do this, don't do that, do this. But his mind, he was so stubborn, he was so rebellious, he just did. He was so prideful, he just did whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, and that's on point. But now take it to the mind of a babe, the mind of a child. you tell a baby, just sit, and what's going on? They're sitting, then they start doing this, kicking their feet, right, and then they're balling up the paper, and they're right, and then it's like, what the hell? I just told you to just sit here for 2 seconds. Then next thing you know, they're not sitting, they're walking around, running, fighting. Play fighting. It's like, I thought I told you to sit. Yeah, but, because it says a man's mind is like 7 watchmen. This one mind, a child's mind is the same way, where there's 7 different agendas going on. And sitting is not one of them. I want to go play, I want to go run, I want to fight him, I want to do what he's doing. But sitting is in the back burner. The discipline part is not in the forefront of the mind. That got tossed behind the 7 other thoughts. Y'all understand that? Read it one more time.
God. For a man's mind is sometimes wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen.
Right, now think about when you got 7 different thoughts coming to you. Think about when you have 7 different ideas.
God.
Right? What do they say? You get carried away with your thoughts. Now, usually that's supposed to happen with who? Children, right? But don't that happen with us sometimes? Where you start on one idea, and next thing you know, thought. It's like, wait, how did I get here in my mind?
Right.
You thinking about something totally off, and then if you're skilled enough to backtrack through your thoughts, you're like, oh damn, how did I think of this to this to this to this, and get all the way over here? Now think about that in your own discipline. Think about that with dealing with your husband when he's like, okay, we're gonna do it like this, this, and this, and you're like, you just sped past whatever he wanted, and you jumped 50 thoughts into what you felt was right or what you wanted to do. It's no different as a child. See, again, that child mentality of I'm gonna have 50,000 thoughts interject and surpass wisdom. Ain't no wisdom gonna be able to come and tell me nothing because my thoughts are what matter. These 7 thoughts that are coming to me, these is what I'm gonna attach myself to. See, we gotta be careful. Again, this is not a good thing. It's not always a good thing.
God.
Having these, well, I'm just multitasking. No, you're not. You got a lack of focus. You don't know how to focus your mind on one idea. Now you're running after all these different thoughts that aren't always biblical thoughts. They're what? How do I cater to this feeling? How do I cater to this emotion? How do I justify this thought? How do I justify this act? So we got to be careful, right? Go on, read on.
Con. That above and in high tower.
Sit above in a high tower. Go to Proverbs chapter 27, verse 19. Proverbs 27, verse 19. You know what's crazy about that first chapter of Ecclesiastes? Where it tells you there's a time for everything, right? Mm-hmm. When you see that there's a time for everything, when you get put into a situation, like it tells you, time to laugh, time to cry, time to listen, time to talk, a time to sleep, and a time to wake up, right? So there's a time for everything. Time for war, time for peace. Whenever a situation or a time pops up, what's the first thing that happens to you? You get told about it. And then it cycles through your mind. And then it's like, what do I do? You can either listen to your mind or you can do what's being told to you.
Yeah, you can listen to those 7 Watchmen.
That's in your mind?
That are in your mind, or you can listen to the wisdom that's trying to enter.
Fine.
That's the difference. That's a child's mind. A child's mind is what? Always looking for... a child's mind runs away with itself. A child's mind is unstable. Right? That's why he said, be not like children, tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine, with every thought that comes up, with every emotion, with every feeling, with every, well, she said, he said, with every, well, I know, but, I know, but, don't get tossed around with every but. We can't be in that child mind where instead of having the mind that's able to be molded, that continent mind, right? You have that mind that's tossed to and fro. You don't want that mind. You want the baby's mind, the mind of a babe that can be molded and groomed and grown into a man, grown into a woman. But you don't want the mind that's tossed, the confused mind, the mind that, well, I was thinking and then I went with it. Ain't that what children do? You ask them like why'd you do that? Like this. They give you the big Kanye shrug. Right? And it's like, well, what were you thinking? Well, and then the ones that can articulate, they'll tell you what they were thinking. It was 50 different thoughts that led to something stupid. The ones that can't articulate it yet, they're just like, so your mind was empty? Nah, your mind wasn't empty. But you had so many things running through your mind that you didn't know what path to follow. All you had to do was just sit down. Right? All it was just sit down and be quiet.
Got it.
But everything else is running through your head. Go ahead. Proverbs 27:19.
Go ahead.
Proverbs 27, verse 19. As in water, face answereth to face.
Read it again. Read it a little bit more power. Read it clear. Read it straight through.
Proverbs chapter 27, verse 19. As in water, face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man.
So think about it. As in water, face answereth to face. So when you look in the mirror, what do you see?
Your own face.
Your own face. When you look at some water, you see your own face. So read it from the top.
As in water, face answereth to face.
Go ahead.
So the heart of man to man.
So your mind is the first thing to answer to you. Like I was saying, it's a time for everything. So when you get told something, when you get told a counsel, the first thing is your mind. Oh man, let me not wake up. Let me hit the snooze button. Oh man, let me not cook it how he wants to cook it. Let me just do it my way. Let me not leave her in the car seat. Let me take her out the car seat. Let me not do what I need to do with the kids. Like you said, the kids gonna do what they want to do. Your mind is the first thing. But what is it about your mind? What does the Bible always tells you about your mind? Anybody? Abdai?
The scripture that you're referring to that says the heart is treacherous or wicked.
Jeremiah 17.
Verse 9. Absolutely on point, Abdai. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. And Jermaine, read that again, mate. Mama, get Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. Jermaine, read Proverbs 27, verse 19 again.
Proverbs 27 verse 19.
Go ahead.
As in water, face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man.
So listen, your mind is going to talk to you. You can either choose to do it or not, but your mind is what's going to talk to you. That's the first thing. So you got to filter your mind through the scriptures of the Most High and see what do I need to do. Can I just follow my mind and do it? Because your mind might be on point. Or should I listen? Jeremiah 17 verse 9.
Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9.
But this is the thing. The majority of our times, this is our mind. Go ahead.
The heart is deceitful above all things.
The mind is deceitful, man. And who's known for being deceitful? Satan. So when you know that your mind is deceitful, read it from the top.
The heart is deceitful above all things.
So your mind is deceitful above all things, not some things, everything. So Satan is there. Satan is the king of deceit. So he's going to come in every situation your mind is going to try to deceive you. That's why we hit those first couple scriptures. All things are expedient, but all things are not. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. Why? Because your mind is deceitful. You don't know when something is actually, if you don't stop and actually think about it, you don't know when something is actually expedient for you. You don't know when something is actually edifying. You can come at somebody you don't even think that you're coming at this person the wrong way or that you're offending somebody. But if you don't take the time out to consider or to discern, you won't know. You just keep rolling with it because that's what you're used to. That's what you've been taught from a babe coming up. So that's just how you are. You might be a fire person when this person doesn't need fire. They need water. You might just be able to just come at this person a certain way. You don't have to come at them all loud, boisterous. You could just tell them and they'll do it. But see, if we can't get in through a person, then we're coming the wrong way. I remember a war in San Antonio always says this. If you're teaching somebody or you're counseling somebody and they're not getting it, it's their fault. If they don't care about getting it, that's on them. But we have to find ways of getting in. We have to find ways of letting this person understand. So if you're dealing with your husband and he's not understanding you, you got to find a way to make him understand you. If you're dealing with your wife and she's not getting you, she's not understanding you, you got to come a different angle. If you're teaching your child how to multiply or how to divide and they're not getting it, there's a way that they can get it. I just got to find another method. There's another method to it. But the thing is that your heart will deceive you. So you'll just think, it's my way. It's my way or the highway. You do it like this or you don't do it at all. But your heart will deceive you, man, on the smallest things. Those smallest things add up because the devil's in the details. Go ahead.
And desperately wicked.
And the heart is desperately wicked. It's always trying to be wicked. Easiest example is, man, I know I need to be at work at 7 in the morning. I know I need to be at EO training at 8:30. I know if I wake up just 10 minutes earlier than what I actually set for my alarm clock, everything will go smooth. If there's a traffic, everything will go smooth. I woke up 10 minutes early. I prepared for it. But your mind is so desperately wicked. I'm going to hit that snooze. I'm going to hit that snooze. And if you're really tired, what is 10 minutes of sleep?
More tired?
You need like another 2 hours, another 3 hours. So what is 10 minutes of sleep? But your mind will trick you. You're like, oh man, just 10 more minutes. Just 7 more minutes. You know what, let me just not even turn on the alarm. Let me just sleep. Let me not even hit snooze. Let me just turn it off.
That's where you was at this morning? No, I'm joking.
But your mind is so desperately wicked, man. You get told to do something, you're like, you know what? He ain't gonna see. Or she ain't gonna see. I'll just do it. They don't know that the way that I'm thinking about doing it is way easier. They think that their way is better, but the way that I'm thinking about it is way easier. And he ain't gonna know if I do it this way or not. Or she ain't gonna know, so let me just do it. Your mind is desperately wicked. In the smallest matters, in the smallest things. You really think you're getting away with something. But we forget, because we're not meditating on the scriptures, we forget that the Most High said everything done in the darkness shall come to light. So yeah, it might not come out that, I don't know, you're watching porn on the low or something like that. It might not come out. But guess what? When the Most High starts damaging stuff, when things start happening in your life, yeah, you gotta examine yourself. Why is this happening? Everything's gonna be brought out to the light. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 2. So we understand that your mind is desperately wicked above everything. It's desperately wicked. It's deceitful above all things. So you can't follow it, right? Can't follow it. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, Ecclesiastes and the Bible after the book of Proverbs chapter 5 and verse 2.
Just like a parent, just like you parents that have children, right? What does your child want to do? Well, let's bring it from the stage of, let's start at 6-7 months old when a baby is learning how to sit up and crawl. What does he want to do? He wants to follow his mind and do what? Stick his finger in the socket, eat whatever's on the floor, put everything in his mouth. He'll crawl, a baby will crawl down the steps face forward, not thinking like, damn, those are steps, I'm gonna get hurt. You gotta see how a baby's mind is not geared towards what's gonna hurt me. A baby's mind is just, I'm crawling, I'm free, right? Like little Shabbat one, if we open the door right here, he's gone. That guy just wants to be outside because he's like, man, I'm walking. I want to be out there. If you just let him go, he'll go. He won't consider the traffic. He won't, because his mind is not programmed for those things that are gonna hurt him as a babe. He's just amazed at the fact that he can walk. Same thing with my son. How old is Noah? 5. Yeah. You know, I constantly tell him, like, bro, when you walk outside, as soon as you get to the parking lot, stop, look for traffic. Cars come, they hurt. His mind ain't looking like thinking about what's gonna hurt me. He's like, bro, I'm moving around. I'm able to walk and move around and hop and skip and jump and play, right? I'm following what I like. I'm following what I want to do, but he's not considering. Children, remember, children don't consider. A child's mind is inconsiderate of the dangers of themselves, the dangers of others. That's what makes that deceitfulness come more to fruition, because a child don't consider who they're hurting. They don't consider the things that come to them in a form of harm. So they just move around freely and do whatever. They follow what they want to do. And especially when you don't curb a child, what happens? What does the scripture say about a child that's left alone? So they become headstrong, right? Now they want to do things their way. Y'all seen it? Y'all seen the kids in the grocery store? Mom is like, no, we ain't getting that. They just break out into a tantrum, throw themselves on the floor, go crazy. And then what does she do? She buys them whatever she said no. Because they're so headstrong, that mind in them is so willful, right? What they want ain't unlawful, but it's just not needed at the time. You don't need the bag of candy right now. It's bedtime, dinner time. But no, I want that. So now I gotta act out in a way to show you that my will is stronger than yours. But that's what children do. Not considering, well, yeah, you're right, this ain't needed. I haven't eaten dinner yet. This isn't needed. I haven't done the things that I need to do to be rewarded. So again, examining and looking at how a child operates, you know, all you gotta do is just do the little, what do they say? Examine yourself whether you be in the faith. Well, you take what we're going over and put yourself right next to it. And if you match up, then you know you're a baby. You know that you're a child and you need to grow the hell up. That's it. It's as simple as that. Go ahead, read.
I was gonna say too, like, you gotta actually humble yourself. That way you can grow. Only when it comes to your spirit, the Most High is the only one that can make your spirit grow. You could sit here, you could read 1,000 books, you could read the Bible 1,000 times. The Most High won't bless you with the wisdom of the Bible. You might have the knowledge, but you won't know how to use it. That's why you got the scripture that tells you that a man can teach can teach many, but he's unprofitable unto himself. What's the point of being able to teach everybody, but you can't even teach yourself? That means that everybody that you teach, they ain't gonna believe in you anyways, because they ain't gonna see it working for you. So ain't no point. You gotta actually humble yourself and let the Most High allow you to grow. Let him bless you with the growth in the spirit, so that you can grow and you can move on from the baby stage. Because we're gonna go into it. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 2. Go ahead, bro.
Ecclesiastes 5 verse 2.
Because we see, before that we hit Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9. See that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, right?
God.
So Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 2. Go ahead.
Be not rash with thy mouth.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 2. Oh, sorry.
Ecclesiastes.
It's actually Ecclesiastes. I'm sorry. You had to.
5 and 2.
My bad, bro.
Ecclesiastes 5 verse 2.
Go ahead.
Follow not thine own mind and thy strength.
Go ahead.
I have enough for my life.
No, Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 2.
Follow not thine own mind and thy strength.
Yeah, don't follow your own mind and your own strength. First of all, remember, our strength is the Most High. It says, cursed is he that maketh man his strength. Cursed are you if you make yourself your strength. Our strength is the Most High. So we don't follow our mind and our strength. If that's the book, if it's from the book, we gotta roll with it. If it's coming from the men that the Most High ordained to be teachers, we gotta roll with it. That's the counsel of the Most High. Go ahead.
To walk in the ways of thy heart.
Yeah, because your heart is desperately wicked over all things. So why would you follow it? And you see the consequences of you following it. Your whole life before you came into the truth, and now even worse, now that you're in the truth, because the Most High ain't playing with you. You're known of the Most High. So when you mess up, you got to get punished for it. You're not that baby that didn't know. You're not that child that didn't get told. You know now. Your eyes are open. You're known of the Most High. So if you're known of the Most High, you're known of these negative spirits as well. So they're coming after you. Simply put, they're coming after you. But if you use the Most High's wisdom correctly, you'll be fine. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 2. Because you can't get prideful. Because if you want to follow your own heart and your own mind, that's your pride. Like Pablo Escobar, that's why he ran for his whole life. How you gonna be the seventh richest man on the planet, but you gotta run? You gotta be on the run. You can't even enjoy those riches. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point of you knowing that you're a Hebrew Israelite of any of the 12 tribes? The mystery of the Most High has been revealed to you. Or even better, you were born into this. You didn't have to grow up in the world, getting defiled by the world, getting defiled by these badass kids. I really wanted to go in just now. Like we all have been, man. We grew up, we have a past. We have a past that we wish we didn't have to go through. We've done things that we wish we didn't have to do. We've lived things that we wish we didn't have to live. Because now that we're in the truth, we look at these things and we're like, the Most High brings it back in your mind, and you're like, golly, I did that. Or golly, I was like that. Or golly, I hurt this person. I made fun of this person. I disrespected this person. I messed up here. I messed up there. I introduced this person to drugs. I may have destroyed this person's life. So now that we're in the truth, why do we still fall to those things? We still can't be making those mistakes. If we were in the world without this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and now we've gotten it, why are we still living like we're cursed? Like we're Deuteronomy chapter 28. But that's why now that we know, the Most High punishes us, because we know. Read Ecclesiastes chapter 6 verse 2.
What's up?
Man, it's interesting that you brought that point out, because my actual brother texted me by accident. He meant to text the weed man, and I was just like, man, I'm so glad I'm like the Most High has separated me from that, because I don't have the desire to like, even the smell these days is just like, nah, I'm good. But it was just interesting that you brought that out, because you was like, you know, these things that we separated from, you know, why go back to it? So just wanted to bring that out.
God.
Yeah, why go back to the weak and beggarly elements, the pollution? Because that's what it was. That's what it was. It was the pollution.
God. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 2.
Go ahead.
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart.
Read that again.
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart.
You can't do that. Because think about your life before the truth, where all you had was yourself, because you ain't get no form of counsel, no form of knowledge, no form of understanding from your parents when it came to living life. We didn't get that from our parents, from our friends, from our family members, aunties, uncles. We didn't get the Most High's wisdom in the world. So the only thing we had was our mind. And how many mistakes did we make? How many families did we destroy? We destroyed our own families. How many things did we put ourselves through? How many tattoos did we get that we wish we didn't get? And now you want to get laser, you want to get the removal. It's like, what point?
Yeah,
what's the point of that?
You can't do laser removal for all the men you slept with. All them women you whoremonger. There's no laser removal for that. All those spirits that you destroyed, you gotta own that. You gotta, there's your regret, but when you're testing your spirit and erroring in life, these are the things that you harm and destroy. It's like a baby, man. A baby is not considerate of, again, what they're destroying. They don't think on that level, like, damn, I'm gonna just cause havoc. Think about a child. Think about when they go into the back of the kids' room and just run through it. Toys and paper and food everywhere. Are they thinking like, wow, somebody gotta come and clean this up? No. They're not considering that someone has to come clean it up, and then what happens when we're like, y'all go back there and clean? They all start crying. Everybody starts leaving. Oh, that wasn't me. That was him. That was Noah. Right? They all try to blame one person. Is that you? Are you a deflector? Are you deflecting the things that happen in your life onto others? Everyone else is to blame? You the innocent bystander that just happened to be there? But it's everybody else's fault? And so, at this stage in the game, you got to get out of that child's mind and stop deflecting everything, stop putting the blame off, and really own up to your responsibility so you can grow the hell up. Else you'll never grow. I would die.
I looked up the word extol.
Yep.
And it means to glorify or praise enthusiastically.
Uh-huh.
And so I was just thinking, like, you think you're, like, when you glorify your own thoughts or your own way of doing things, you're never going to listen to wisdom or anybody else because you think that
your way is right.
Your way is the absolute only
What is that?
Pride.
That's pride. That's pride. And unfortunately, there's a lot of us that think like that. We'll extol, we'll glorify ourselves and see, I did that. That was me. It always pops off when I'm here. Nah. That's your pride telling you that. And remember, pride goeth before destruction. So you get lifted up in yourself, but ain't that children? Ain't that a child's mind, like trying to get some glory for something?
Yeah, look what I did.
Right. Right? Even though it's like, why did you do that? Well, because in their mind, that was the right thing to do. But then when you tell them it's wrong, they're like, well, no, I didn't do that. They try to reverse it. Or when they know they did something wrong. No, it wasn't me. No, it wasn't me. Deflecting. But looking for the vain glory. The pride puffing them up. It's all these things that we have to watch out for because, again, if it's in the children, if that's not rooted out, you grow with that. You grow with that pride in you. Y'all understand? Go ahead, read on.
That thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone.
Because that's what's going to happen, man. That's what's going to happen if you follow your mind. Especially, I like the definition that you brought out, Abadiah. That's perfect, because a lot of us do that. We definitely don't want to do that. Oh, man, I did all this. Look what I did. Nah. You don't want to lift yourself up in your own mind, man. You're done when you do that. Because like the scripture says, your mind is desperately wicked. So what are you doing when you lift yourself up in your own mind? You're lifting yourself up in your wickedness.
You're looking for that vainglory. You're not giving the Most High the credit.
Right.
That's why it says one man plant, one man water, the Most High get the increase. Why you think some men and women don't get increased? You steady taking the glory from the Most High. So what does he got to do? What did Charlie Murphy say? In the real stories, the real Hollywood stories of Charlie Murphy, he said when Rick would get out of pocket, I have to check him. Right? That's the Most High, man. You get out of pocket, he got to check you. And then it brings you down a notch. That's really what it is. It brings you down, man, and it hurts. No chastisement for the present seemeth joyous but grievous. Now you catching hell, and you sit back like trying to either you catch that hell and deal with it and take it and grow from that, or you throw yourself in the Job category. Oh, I'm just Job. I'm catching hell like Job. No, you're not. Ain't nobody Job. Everybody's catching hell for the things that we did, even as in our ignorance. You still paying for that.
Absolutely.
So don't be more ignorant and say, well, I'm not catching hell, or the Most High is not checking me for the little bit that I do and don't do. So every man will be rewarded for the work that he does with his hands. You're going to be rewarded either which way it go. You're going to eat the fruit of your doings.
That's why the scripture says your own wickedness will correct you.
Don't jump. Go ahead, read on.
I actually have it on it?
Yeah, you got it on there. Go to Proverbs. Go to Proverbs 28 verse 6.
Can I? Let me get out. Oh, but I got to bring this out.
Okay, go ahead. But I'm just saying it's a lot.
On the point that you was just bringing out, right?
Right.
Because this is very important for us to think about. Think about Moses. Just think about Moses for a second, man. Moshe. Moses led the whole 12 tribes of Israel. Moses dealt with the complaining, the murmuring, the backbiting. He put up with Israel. He put up with counseling. He put up with all that. Right?
Come.
Now think of everything that Moses did for our people. Think about how Moses was obedient to the Most High all the way through. And in just one instance when Moses didn't give the glory to the Most High when it came to the rock. The Most High was like, for this, you're not going into the kingdom.
Promised land.
Into the promised land, I'm sorry. For this, you're going to be able to look at the promised land, but you're not going to go in. Now think of all the works that Moses did. Think of everything that he put up with all of our people, man. And the Most High still judged Moses just for that one, just for that act.
That little lapse in judgment.
Yeah. Just think about that. Think of all that he did. Think of all that he did. He was in the mountains with the Most High, 40 days, 40 nights, fasting, came down with the commandments. The Most High wanted to destroy us. Moses was like, nah, don't do it. Destroy me before you destroy them. And even through all that, the Most High was like, listen, you're going to lead these people to the promised land. The same people that riled you up to get you to this point to where you sinned against me, but you're not going to go in. You're not going to be able to go in. You're just going to be able to see it. And now compare yourself to Moses. What have you done? What have you done? Who have you led? Who have you put up with for years? You might have did it with one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, your kids. But you ain't do it for the whole nation. You ain't do it for the whole nation, man. And look at just that small instance how Moses got corrected. And now think about yourself. Think about the mercy that the Most High has on you. Think about the patience and the mercy and the love and the care and the long suffering that the Most High has for you.
And let me say this. Look on the flip side too, because we don't want to knock anybody's works. But look at the brothers and sisters that have been around for years, and look at Like, examine yourself and say, damn, I've been around for years and I put in a lot of work. Do I want that to be erased? Do I want it to where when I appear in front of the Most High in Christ and it's flee from me, you wicked and slothful servant? You taught in my name, you prophesied, you cast out devils, right? But he says you're wicked and slothful. Do you want that? Because of the way because you didn't elevate yourself out of that child mind. Because these things never, you know, that prideful taking the glory of the Most High, those things were never rooted up out of you. You were doing it for the glory, the vain glory. You were doing it to be seen. You were doing things to get the credit. We got to be careful of that. Go to Proverbs 28:6.
God. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 6. Better is the poor that walketh.
Proverbs 28:26. That's my bad. 28:26.
God. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 26. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool.
Why? Because the heart is desperately wicked and deceitful. So if you're trusting in your own heart, yeah, you're a fool and you're going to do foolish things. What are we supposed to trust in?
The Most High.
The Most High. The scripture, it's in, there's one in Proverbs, but there's one in, read it. It's Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Most High with all your heart. You're not to your understanding. Good. Right? There's that one. There's another one, man. It's in, it got to be in Amos, where it said that the Most High is our confidence. It got to be in Amos. That's the last thing I was listening to. It's like Amos 1. I'll find it, but our confidence, the thing that our secures, is supposed to be the Most High. Not our own thoughts, not the way we want to do it, because again, that's how a child thinks. A child thinks on what they want and what they want only. That selfish mind, right? So we dealt with the heart. We dealt with the things that are lawful that are not needed. So let's really get into this baby mind state, this child mind. Go to 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 1. 1 Corinthians 3 and 1. Go to 1 Corinthians 3 and 1.
And on this Proverbs 28 verse 26, right? Where it says, he that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. Just think about it. If you trust in your own heart, you just going by you. The Most High tell you to counsel with every enterprise. Before every move, take no matter small or great. Counsel. Just counsel. The Most High says the scripture tell you where 2 or 3 is gathered, then Christ is among them. So if you're constantly getting counsel, the Most High is with it. The Most High is going to have it go your way. But let's get into it like the brother says. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 1. Because this is going to show when the Most High is not with you.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 1. And I, brethren, could not speak as unto spiritual.
Let's read it again.
And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual.
Right. See, Paul was checking again how he would check the Corinthians, right? How he would check the people of Corinth. He said, I can't speak to you as unto spiritual. Read on.
But as unto carnal.
But as unto carnal. But he's going to explain even what he meant by you're carnal. Go ahead.
Even as unto babes in Christ.
Even as unto what?
Babes in Christ.
Right. Even as unto a baby in Christ. Why? Because what is it about a babe that makes them carnal? What is it about that baby mentality? Who knows? Jeremiah.
They're more about the law than the spirit.
They're more about the law than the spirit, but go a little bit more deeper.
They don't know how to correctly apply the knowledge that was given to them.
Right, their discernment, their lack of application properly, so they don't really have wisdom. They got a lot of knowledge. Your correct application is not there. Abadiah, you had your hand?
I was going to say that they move and operate strictly on their flesh, their feelings, what they like, what they don't like, what they see, whatever, what they hear.
Think about a baby.
Yeah.
When a baby is crying, what are they crying for?
Food,
Hungry? sleepy, or dirty diaper. It's all carnal. They ain't like crying out because there's something spiritual going on. They're not wailing and bawling because it's something that's spiritual in them. They deal the way they deal because of the carnality that's around them. They're either hungry, tired, or they're wet. So they gotta cry out to let you know, listen, I'm hungry, tired, and wet. But now, when you bring it to us, as grown men and women, as aged adults, right? As aged babes, why would Paul say, I can't speak to you on a spiritual level, but on a carnal level, even as on a level of babes? Well, it's going to tell us. Read on.
God. Verse 2. I have fed you with milk.
I have done what?
Fed you with milk.
That's Proverbs.
And not with meat.
Why? Well, because a babe can't bear it. They can't bear the meat. That's first and foremost. But Paul was examining the people of Corinth and saying, wait a minute. Y'all are still on the milk. It's like y'all put yourselves back on the milk. How? Why? Because of the dealings. He was looking at the way that people dealt, and he was like, wait a minute. This is how you know you a babe. Because of these things. Read.
Con. I have fed you with milk, and not with meat.
Read.
For hereto ye were not able to bear it.
Right, he said you weren't able to bear it then. Go ahead.
Neither yet now are ye able.
And you still ain't able to bear it. The meaty things. Why? Because you haven't grown up. The baby mind is still in you. Because you're still, after all this time, still worried about, I'm wet, I'm tired, and I'm hungry. You're still in that baby, that child mind. Right? But Paul was bringing it to them in a way, and he was showing them through their actions. Watch, read on, read verse 3.
Con. For ye are yet carnal. For whereas there is among you envying.
Now, aren't children the ones that they learn that envy at an early age? Well, he got that, but I want it. That's my toy. Right? Well, ain't that how they operate? Well, how come he gets to? But he gets to do this and I get. Ain't that children? That's a children. It's a child's mentality. Envy. No. Go ahead, read.
And strife.
And what?
And strife.
Ain't that what children do? They strive one towards another. It's always some beef. Oh, and then what do we say? Oh, that's just brother and sister love. That's brother and brother. That's just brothers being brothers. No, it's not. Because what happens when you're a grown-ass man being like that? Envious and striving. You got some child things you got to work up out of you. And you striving and going back and forth over every little thing. That's something you got to watch out for. Go ahead, read on.
And divisions.
And what?
Divisions.
Yeah, well, it didn't go my way, so I'm going to do what? I'm going to go sit over here and y'all can play with y'all's ball over there. That's my ball. Right? You walk off the court. I've done it. Back of my man, give my damn ball. I walk off, man. I'm going to play on this hoop. Y'all are good over there.
Yeah.
You separate yourself. Right?
Right.
You got to see, listen, I didn't write it. Paul wrote this. Divisions. Well, we don't like what they saying over here, so we don't go do our thing over here. But I don't like them sisters because they're always trying to talk about spiritual things that's going on with me. So guess what I'm going to do? I just ain't going to show up, or when I do show up, I'm going to be real quiet like a little mouse. I'm going to sew in silence. I'm going to sew my husband's garment inside. My machine is going to go. I got stealth mode on my sewing machine. So the damn sewing machine disappears. The sister, she disappears into a cloud. Damn, where'd that sister go? I'm right here. Oh, but damn, we didn't see you. Because you don't want to deal with what's going on in you. Just like children, what do? You tell them to do something, oh, I ain't doing that. And they storm off, and they go sit in their room by themselves and cry. It's right here. Are we operating in that mind? Go ahead, read.
Are ye not carnal?
Right?
And walk as men?
And walk as men. Because a child's mind is all on their feelings and how they feel and what they want. Go to James 3:14. Go Go to James 3:14. They got that. Questions? Yeah. Go to James. Read that.
James chapter 3, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
But if ye have bitter envy and strife in your hearts, glory not.
Yeah, that ain't nothing to glory about. If your life is in turmoil, that ain't nothing to glory about. Why not actually take the steps to fix it? Because that's what an adult would do. But see, a babe ain't even gonna know what's going on. They're just gonna be blinded.
They don't even consider.
Yeah, they ain't considering. That's why the baby gotta be told and shown. That's the whole point of being a babe. That's why Christ said if you're a babe, you can enter into the kingdom. Why? Because you can be told and you can be shown certain things.
Yeah, can you be sat down and shown your way is not the right way, accepted, and then conform to the wisdom? Or are you the babe that storms out the room, slams the door, right? I ain't doing that. I hate you. And then you got to go in, whoop his ass, right? Check him. And then but he still holds on to that mind. Y'all know the children I'm talking about. Y'all know there's children out there that's like that. You tell them something, they try to get all like my son tries to do that. I'm like, bro, I'll punch a hole through you. Stop it. You ain't gonna throw them damn tantrums like them white boys. You ain't doing it. But he tries to, he's young, he's 5, he tries to do it. He tries to see how far he can push. How far he can push me before I got a poontang. Right? Hit him with the water towel. He tries to push, man. Go ahead, read on.
Go ahead.
And lie not against the truth.
Hold on, read it from the top. Read
Now,
from the top, verse 14.
Verse 14, 3 verse 14.
Go ahead.
But if ye have bitter envy and strife in your hearts.
Yeah, see, if you got bitter envy and strife, who's the author of confusion, class? Satan. So if you got that in your hearts, if that's in your mind, who's around you? Satan. The spirit of Satan is around you. Why? Because he's messing with your mind. You're rolling with it. You're actually sitting there and you're pondering with it. When Satan came to Christ, Christ shut him down. But you're letting him dwell. You're letting him marinate. And he's just marinating. Getting worse and worse and worse. Read.
Glory not.
The scripture says what?
Glory not.
Listen, what is there to glory about if everything, every day you wake up, it's something. It's an issue. Ain't nothing to glory about. If I got envy and strife, if I'm malicious, if I'm complaining about everything, if I'm murmuring about everything, what is there to glory about? If I'm contentious, contending everything, there's nothing to glory about. Read.
And lie not against the truth.
Yeah, don't lie against the truth. Don't put it on the Most High. The Most High did this. The Most High is doing this to me. Or are you doing it to yourself? Read.
Verse 15.
Go ahead.
The wisdom descended not from above.
Yeah, this wisdom doesn't descend from above. Bitter envy and strife, maliciousness, hatred, bitterness, grudging, disrespectfulness, weakness, emotions, all this is not from the Most High. That's not coming from the Most High. Read.
Because if it is, why do you got to beat it out of your children? If this wisdom, remember the children act like this. If this was what you wanted for your children, why is it that you have to correct it? Well, because we know it's not godly. We know this is not profitable wisdom. This is that earthly wisdom, right? It says the wisdom of wickedness is not wisdom. This is that earthly wisdom that if you hold on to this in a youth state of mind and grow with it, you'll be that unfruitful tree that the Most High cast down and throw into that fire. Go ahead, read on.
But it's earthly.
It's earthly. Go ahead.
Sensual.
Go ahead.
Devilish.
Wait, what is it?
Sensual.
Earthly. Sensual.
Yeah, all about the feelings, the senses.
Yep.
It's all about how I feel. Ain't that what a child is on? It's all about what they want at that time, how they feel. Well, how come you don't want to talk? Well, I'm mad right now. Okay, well, let's talk. No, I'm mad. And then all you got to do is just tickle them And they'll be laughing. 3 seconds later, Noah's good for that. He'd be mad, and I'm like, man, come here. He's like, no, get off me. Don't touch me. I'm like, man, stop playing. He's like, oh my God, Dad. Oh, I'm so ticklish. Like, yeah, but because why? His mind is tossed to and fro. His mind is so easily persuaded where he can be mad, flaming mad at me 1 minute, and 30 seconds later I have him in a tickle fest, and he'll put down that emotion. And then 5 seconds later, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm mad again. And it just keeps going in this cycle. But see, this is what we have to watch out for that. Are you going through these emotions, a cycle of emotions every day? 1 minute you're happy, next minute you're depressed, next minute you're happy again, then you don't know, you're melancholy, then you're this emotion, you're that emotion. What optimist, pessimist, I just F my life. You going through those different cycles of emotions every day. You have to find a way through the wisdom to ground yourself into a level plane. You just like a roller coaster. Tossed to and fro with every wind of emotion. Like a child. Go ahead, read on, finish it up.
And lie not. Devilish.
Go ahead, verse 16.
For where envying and strife is,
go ahead,
there is confusion and every evil work.
Yeah, where there's disagreements, where there's divisions. Because how can you build if you're divided? A house divided against itself can't stand. So where all these things are, who's there? Every evil work. So who's there? Satan. Go to Proverbs chapter 20, verse 11.
No. Go to 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. Go to 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Console it. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11.
Read the whole thing.
When I was a child, I spake as a child.
Go ahead.
I understood as a child.
Go ahead.
I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Now read it from the top.
When I was a child, I spake as a child.
So when we were children, we spake as children, right? Go, give me Hebrews chapter 13, verse 16. Now when a child is first born, does the baby know how to talk? Nah, they cool. So we got to understand that we got to learn how to talk. We got to learn how to talk to our husbands. Husbands, we got to learn how to talk to our wives. We got to learn how to talk to our children. We got to learn how to talk to our elders. We got to learn how to communicate. We must learn how to communicate. Why? So we can all be on the same page. Especially with what's going on now in our camp. We're making this big move. We got Virginia finna open up. We're finna have a new school out there. So what do we need to do? We need to be on point with everything. The communication got to be there. 100%. So everything can keep functioning here. So everything can keep functioning here as well as out there. The communication got to be on point so that brothers can grow, so that sisters can grow, so that when sisters leave, it's like they never left. Because the things that they were doing, it's still rolling. And not only is it still rolling, it's still growing. Same things with the brothers. We need to step up. We need to man up and do what we need to do. Because guess what? Virginia's the start. 1 + 1, 2. Now, when they do the same things that we're doing out here, and a brother raises up, out of there, and it's time for us to go open a new spot up, instead of opening up just 1, we can open up 2. Now we got 4. Not even counting San Antonio and Albuquerque and what's going on there. But it's a growth thing. But it's only going to happen through communication. When you look at a baby doesn't know how to communicate. So the baby got to learn how to communicate. Can I come at you this way? Can I not come at you this way? Is it time?
Well, really, a baby does know how to communicate. They just have one basic level. Cry. It's one basic level. Cry for everything. I'm wet, cry, hungry, cry, tired. I'm going to cry even when I'm tired. Think about it. I'm tired, but I'm going to cry. So they do know how to communicate, but see, read that scripture one more time. 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 11.
When I was a child,
right?
I spake as a child.
You see, so it's telling you a child does know how to speak. A child does know how to communicate. But on their level, and that with wisdom, it says a man is commended according to his wisdom. That means that his communication level has to raise above this child. When I was a child, I spake as a child, meaning what? When I was a child, I dealt with all the emotionals. I went through the emotions of things. I went through the, hey, what's wrong with you? Nothing. And what does a child do? They shut down. Like I got my niece coming. I got my niece coming from Colorado, and one of her problems, she's young. She's like 12, right?
14.
Oh, damn. They be growing, bro. She's 14. But I haven't seen her in about 4 or 5 years. But the one thing I do know about her is she will shut down. She will, don't pay attention to that. Who is that? Who's out there?
Some lady.
Oh, go, Lamont, go see what she wants. She'll shut down because that's how she was taught. Like whenever it's time for you to talk, to shut down and be silent for hours. Don't let nobody know what's going on with you. So that's something I gotta now watch out for. Is she maturing from 10, 7, 8, now she's 14, has she grown out of that? When I was a child, I spake as a child. Are you growing out of the way you spoke as a child and the way you communicated things, the way you articulated things, the way you delivered information? That is very important. Because if you're still doing it in a child mind, then now you understand why you're not being understood. Because we don't understand baby talk. Grown men don't understand baby talk. You trying to talk in parables, we're like, break it down to us. We don't read emotions, we don't read minds. Right? That's how babies think. Like, that's in my head. If you want to get to it, you have to read my mind. Well, we ain't reading your mind. I'm reading your mind. You just have to sit there in your emotion. Or woman up, man up, and articulate oneself. Where we at? Hebrews 13.
Hebrews 13.
Verse 16.
Verse 16. But do good and to communicate.
Read it again.
But to do good and to communicate.
Right.
Forget not.
Right. And ain't a child forgetful? Don't children say, man, I didn't see why that was necessary. I didn't see why I had to communicate with this and this and that. It says, but to do good and to communicate. So there are two things that are meshed into one. Showing you it's a good thing to communicate and let people know what's going on in your mind. Why? So you can get that help. So you can get things fixed. Right? But it says to do good and to communicate, forget not. Read on.
For with such sacrifices.
With what?
For with such sacrifices.
With such sacrifices. See, because for some it is a sacrifice to communicate and to articulate. Why? Because they don't see the benefit. A lot of y'all don't see the benefit of communication. You're like, why we gotta communicate that? And why we gotta let them know? And how come they gotta know? And how come this? And how come that? See, the sacrifice is you giving up what you want to do. And which is not to communicate, which is not to let everyone be privy to what's going on. But it said it's a good thing. What's that?
So like, where we at again?
Hebrews 13:16. Right? Go to Ecclesiastes
21 and verse 26. Ecclesiastes chapter 21 and verse 26.
Someone else gets Proverbs 10:32.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 21 verse 26. The heart of fools is in their mouth.
Go ahead.
But the mouth of the wise is in their heart.
Listen. It says the heart of fool is in the heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their heart. So what does that mean? That means that the wise is going to actually think before he speaks.
Because babies don't. A babe don't think. A child, it's like, again, my son, he'll see a chick that's a little bit overweight, or even a woman that's pregnant, and he'll be like, oh, she's fat. I'm like, bro, you gotta stop talking about people like that. He ain't got no filter, right? Or he'll see somebody that's a little bit overweight and be like, oh, they're pregnant. And it's like, no, they're not pregnant. Like, bro, just don't say nothing. Don't comment. You know, he'll see things and be, ew, that's gross. Or, Dad, she's ugly. I'm like, bro, you can't. I take him to the mall a lot with me, so he sees things, and he's just like, it be blowing his mind, because he's like, wow, why are they doing that? And I remember he seen two dudes holding hands. He was like, ew, Dad, they're gross. And I was like, yeah, remember that. Remember that one. Yeah, remember that one. But still, don't be talking about people. Hold that to yourself.
Yeah.
He got a child has no filter. Their mouth, it says their mouth is in where? Read it again.
The heart of fools is in their mouth.
Yeah, because a fool will utter whatever comes to mind.
It's like when people say, people say this about Cardi B. They say, I love her. She speaks her mind.
But
That's
she sounds ignorant as hell. She sounds ignorant. She looks ignorant when she talks. Her voice is ignorant. It's annoying.
It's everything.
It makes me want to not even talk to Dominican people. It makes me not want to claim them on the tribe chart. All that. Because of her foolish talking. Like, damn, bruh, somebody married you? It's crazy.
Married her, yeah.
Yeah, somebody did. But it says a fool's mouth is where? Read it again.
The heart of fools is in their mouth.
Right, so they'll just utter whatever comes to mind, like a child. Go ahead.
But the mouth of the wise is in their heart.
Yeah, see, the mouth of the wise, the heart is the mind. So that means that they think, they filter before they speak. Now, again, we dealing with a baby here, and babe mentality. Are you one that filters and thinks out before you just speak, before you just utter any old thing? Do you think about it before you just answer your husband with any old retarded answer? Before you just answer the brother with any old retarded answer? Do you think about it first? The one thing I hate, here goes my son again, he does it. The first, like we're doing the homeschool with him, and it's like, spell pig. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, bro, you just spelled pig 5 minutes ago. You do know. But he automatically throws it in his head. He don't know that he says it. That's what makes it come to fruition. Because then he don't know. It's like, bro, you've been spelling pig all week. You've been spelling all these words all week. He just says any old thing that comes to his mind and try to get out of what he got to do. And he think that he's going to escape. But that, you know, it adds more time to his learning. From there, go to Proverbs 10:32. And then go back to Corinthians 13 and 11.
Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 32.
Go ahead.
The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable.
You see that? It says the lips of a righteous man knows what's acceptable. Why? Because there's discernment, there's discretion, there's tact. The scriptures say, walk with wisdom to them that are without, and have your speech always seasoned with salt.
God.
That's in Colossians.
4:6.
Right? That's in Colossians. It's about knowing how to say things and when to say it. Not just diarrhea at the mouth. Like children, you ever just want to tell your kids, man, be quiet real quick? Because what do they start doing? Dad, and this, and that. And it's like, wow, they got just so many. But those are those 7 watchmen that are doing what? Telling them all these different things to say, all these different things they saw. And then they mix them all into one. And 1 minute they're explaining the things they saw on TV, and they blend it into the car ride of what they saw at the car ride, and then what the other kids were doing in the school, and everything is just one blended story, right, of imagination. You're like, wow, where'd you get that from? Well, it was the car ride, it was TV, they played outside and saw some ants, and they mix it all into this elaborate story. Like, yeah, this Narnia, right? This is a movie.
Yeah.
But that's how some brothers be, some sisters. It's like they go into the quasars in their mind. You go into this mode of just. The scriptures say comprehending much in few words. Right? Go ahead, read on.
But the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness.
You see that? The mouth of the wicked, they don't think before they speak, and what comes out of their mouth is hurtful. It's froward. It goes against the commandment. It goes against the Bible. It goes against brotherly love and charity. A lot of times, man, I get quiet. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking about what I'm going to say and how am I deliver it. Because I know I can. I know I can go. Go to 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. They say words are weapons. And I got sharp ginsus.
It's actually the scripture that tell you that the word is worse than like everything
like
else.
A word ill spoken, something like that.
Nah, it says like a word is worse than like weapons of war or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. That's why it says life and death are in the power of the tongue. 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. Read it again.
1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11.
Right.
When I was a child, I spake as a child.
Right.
I understood as a child.
I did what?
I understood as a child.
Now, how does a child understand? Well, they can only understand things on the most basic levels. Again, they only understand what they want to understand. Right? Because what do you have to do for a child's understanding? You got to teach them. And a lot of times, what is it that a child is more geared towards? They're more geared towards what?
Watching.
Well,
Observing,
when they start to do stuff, what are they geared towards? Are they really geared towards what you're telling them? Or are they geared towards their mind and what they want? Yeah, they're geared towards what they want and what they think is right. Go to 1 Corinthians 14:20.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 20.
Uh-huh.
Brethren, be not as children in understanding.
Be not what?
As children in understanding.
Go ahead.
Howbeit in malice be ye children.
You see, he's saying don't be children in understanding. Be children in malice. In all the other things that we just hit, the envy, the strife, the striving, the bitterness. He said be children in those things.
God, man.
Because what happens when you're filled with malice? We know the scripture. Wisdom can't enter into a malicious spirit. So what happens with a child when they're filled with when a child is filled with anger and rage and emotion? What doesn't get in? Whatever it is you're trying to teach them. Whatever it is they did wrong. And when they go into their little hissy fit, they go into the little hissy, right? They start stomping around and folding their arms and huffing and puffing. What you got to do to them? You got to give them that time out. You got to give them that time to cool down because you steady trying to put information into them. It's not entering. Right? Now, what's the problem with that? The hissy fit. Is there a problem with it? Oh yeah, there's a problem with it. Yeah, there's a big problem with the hissy fits and the internalizing that brothers and sisters do with their emotions. See, a lot of us don't hissy fit outwardly. We do it inside. We hissy fit inside of ourselves.
That's why you got the scripture that says there's a wicked man that laid down his head.
Inwardly is he's full of deceit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, when you're hissy fitting and temper tantruming inside yourself, internally, you're not allowing what needs to be shown for your growth and development to come to fruition. That's why a lot of brothers and sisters, that's why a lot of us don't grow. You get the milk, but you choke on it because you're not allowing that milk to go down and help you grow and process. Go to where we at?
1 Corinthians 14 and 20.
Go back to 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. Read it.
Come on. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
When I was a child, I spake as a child.
Right.
I understood as a child.
Go to Proverbs 7 and verse 7. Go to Proverbs 7 and verse 7. Proverbs 7 and verse 7. It's all good.
Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 7.
Right, go ahead.
And beheld among the simple ones.
Among the what?
Simple ones.
Go ahead.
I discerned among the youth.
Uh-huh.
A young man void of understanding.
You see that? Because a child is simple. They have simple, they operate off simple emotions, off simple wants and simple needs. A child's thinking ain't complex. Now, ask yourself, how is your thinking and understanding? Or how do you understand things? Does it got to be broken down 50 million different ways just for you to get a simple concept? Or, and then is everything else puffed up in you? The pride, the hate, the negative, is that all puffed up in you and then the understanding is lacking? Well, there's a reason why, because all these things are puffed up in you. That's why you're understanding it. That's why it's so hard for the understanding to come forth on simple tasks. Hey, we're going to go do it like this. Well, why? Well, because if we don't, then this is going to happen. Well, I just don't see that. You don't see 1 Peter 3:1, just submit to your husband. You don't see that there's a way that seemeth right to a man, but the ways there are of death. It's simple concepts like that where, because everything else is so ballooned in you, all the pride, all the discord, all the contention, the understanding of the simple things ain't there. It's just like children. Right? Read on.
Good. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 8. Passing through the street near her corner.
Go to Jeremiah 4:22. Yeah, you can end that. Go to Jeremiah 4:22. My bad. I just threw some things. No. Threw some things in there. He ain't right. You the man. Jeremiah 4:22.
Jeremiah chapter 4 verse 22. For my people is foolish.
They what?
Foolish.
Go ahead.
They have not known me.
You see that? Go ahead, read on.
They are thoughtless children.
Yeah, they're dumb children, man. Why? Because that understanding is lacking, but it's because the malice, you're a grown man, a grown woman in malice and bitterness and all the little negatives, but the being a man in understanding is not there. You let all these other things override. Go ahead.
And they have none understanding.
You see that? They have none understanding. Read.
They are wise to do evil.
Because this is the problem. The wisdom to do evil is prevalent. It's more prevalent than let me try to find the understanding on why not to. Read.
But to do good, they have no knowledge.
That's what it's about. Ain't that them real bad children that you just want to take off your belt and whoop them? They ain't even your kids and you want to beat them. You want to whoop them for the parent because you're like, Dad, this little dude is bad. I want to whoop you. Because there's no knowledge to do good, because all the evil. Y'all see the movie Problem Child, part 1, part 2, part 3. That little dude was so bad. Right? He was sottish. He was a dumb child. But the wisdom to do evil, the understanding of how to do evil was so heightened in him to do good, he didn't even care. Go back to 1 Corinthians 13.
1 Corinthians 13 verse 11.
You see I sped up a little bit because of time. But yeah. Some questions, man. It's all good. Go read it again.
When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child.
Right.
I thought as a child.
I did what?
I thought as a child.
How does a child think? Remember, this is all comparative. Compare yourself to these ideas in the scriptures. These things in the scriptures that the scriptures are bringing out. How does a child think? Go there. Go to Ephesians.
And somebody else give me Ecclesiastes chapter 34 and verse 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 34, verse
and we've been
1.
We've been quoting this one all night. Right? We finally got to it.
So Ephesians chapter 4 verse 14, Ecclesiastes chapter 34 verse 1. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 14 first.
Ephesians chapter 4 verse 14.
Go ahead.
That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro.
It's like we've been hitting all night. A child is one way, then he's the next way, then he's thinking of this, then he's thinking of that. His mind just bouncing around like a basketball, just bouncing everywhere. Go ahead.
And carried about with every wind of doctrine.
Whatever comes to mind, that's what they're rolling with. Come on, man. It's like you trying to fast, but then you get the smell of a food, you're like, oh man, you know what? I can put it off another day. Or you watching TV, commercial come on, food, you're like, you know what? Just one more Big Mac.
That's how I get my son. My son will be mad at me for something. I'm like, man, let's go get some pizza. He's like, okay. He ain't mad about nothing. When I say pizza, bro, it's hard for him to resist. It don't matter what's going on. I gotta whoop him. I gotta beat him.
Fine.
And all I gotta do is get him out that mode. Hey, let's go get some pizza. Or let's go get some let's go to the mall. He'll it's sad, man.
Go ahead.
Because why? It says by the sleight of men.
Yeah, you just gonna hit that.
Yeah. Read it.
By the sleight of men.
Yeah.
So sleight, meaning artful trick, right? Slide. It's a trick.
Right. I'm not even artful with it no more. I'm just like, let's go get pizza. It's not even artful. Sometimes I just say it just to get him out of this mood.
God.
I'm like, yeah, we'll get it later. I just wanted to see if he's gonna get out your mood. He does, and then we carry on. You know, if I want him to do something, hey, well, you know we ain't gonna get that pizza, right? And he thinks about it, and then he tries to find something sly and slick to say, and then he's like, well, he got a point. Let me go do what I gotta go do. Let me go clean my room. You know, I don't use it all the time, but I use it. It just shows you that a child's mind is so easily manipulated from one idea to the next. Now, are you manipulated from one idea to the next? Your husband presents one idea. Your mind, the counsel of your mind presents an idea. Are you tossed off the mission because of the way things are going? Or you don't like how the outcome is looking? Are you tossed? 1 minute you in, 1 minute you out, 1 minute you gung-ho faith, riding, busting the clip through the passenger window. Next minute, you're like, nah, I ain't doing that. Are you tossed? You know, the ideas of the Bible are presented to all man. And then you have the thoughts, the good that I would do, I would not. And the evil I would do, that I do. I would not, I do. Just like how Paul was going through that back and forth. What am I going to ride with? Am I going to ride with me and my thoughts and my counsel? Or am I going to ride with what the wisdom says?
Ecclesiastes 34, verse 1.
Ecclesiastes chapter 34, verse 1.
Go ahead.
The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false.
Listen, your hopes are vain and false if you don't got no understanding. So we got to understand we can't be children tossed to and fro. You got to be sure that you're sure that you're sure that you're sure. So that, because being tossed to and fro, what can get done? That means your mind is divided. Nothing can get built. So your hopes, whatever you was thinking to accomplish, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, ask a kid what he wants to be today. I want to be a fireman. Then ask him tomorrow. I want to be a police officer. Then you ask him the next day, and he goes through every profession.
Kind.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I gotta say this, but let's think about us. Are you a Hebrew Israelite today, and then you want to be a Muslim tomorrow, then a Christian, and then a Buddhist, and then a Seventh-day Disadvantage, and then a Jehovah's Witness, and then back to Hebrew all in 1 week? Like, man, I don't know about this Hebrew thing. I like the dress code, but they got me doing too much. I'm gonna go be a Christian, but I'm gonna wear my fringes. But then the Bible, man, I don't know, it's not resonating with my spirit because it's telling me that I gotta change. So I'm gonna pull up the Quran because there's no accountability in the Quran. You see how the mind, think about it. There's men and women that think like that. How do I be an Israelite but still hold on to Christianity? How do I be an Israelite but still be the chemic guy? Or I want to be an herbologist but Israelite style, right? Or I just want to be a worldly nigga with the Bible. They're tossing back and forth. Their hopes are vain because 1 minute I want to be this Hebrew, I want to be this God. We went over that last class. But I don't want to do the things that get me to that status. So you got to see, man, that's a child's mind. Read it one more time.
The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false.
Right, because don't children come with those delusions of grandeur? They be delusional. You like, where you get that from? Like, you gonna fly across planets and do all, like, where'd you get that? Well, because I was watching Spider-Man far from home, and right, they're looking at all the things that they see in front of them on TV, and they're like, well, I can do that. Why? But their understanding is voided. But now, grown people, we shouldn't have that mind. The wisdom should tell us this is what we're supposed to do and not do. Y'all get that, right? Right. Where are we going from here? Go from here. We got 2 minutes. Check this out. Go to Proverbs 28. Proverbs 25 and 28. Read 1 Corinthians 13 again.
1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child.
Right. Go ahead.
I understood as a child.
Go ahead.
I thought as a child.
Right. So it's showing that a child doesn't know how to really control their faculties. They don't know how to control themselves. Read on.
But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
So what was it saying about this man? What did he become the ruler of? His mind, his spirit, right? Go to Proverbs 25, 28.
Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 28.
In Proverbs 16, 32. Read.
He that had no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down.
Right. Now a city that's broken down, anything can enter.
Yeah.
Any man can go in there and just take what he wants.
Just loot it.
Just loot it, right? So this man now is learning how to get control. This babe is learning how to get control of their spirit. Read Proverbs 16:32.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32.
He
that is slow to anger is better than the mighty man.
You see that? So now they're learning how to control their anger and their emotions. Go ahead.
And he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city.
Yeah. A babe that starts to mature to being able to rule anger and their spirit and their emotions and really put away those carnal things. It said they're better than a man that can take a city. A man that can control his anger and his spirit. Go to... So how do you know if a baby's maturing? What are the telltale signs? Does he can walk?
Go from crawling to walking.
Right. Well, that's just stages in a physical development. Crawling to walking. But how do you know if a baby is maturing?
You can see that he's understanding what you're saying.
His understanding is getting different.
He moves knowing what you're saying.
He moves in a way of there's more purpose. Right. He responds. You get a response. Right. Go to Hebrews
5:12.
Go to Hebrews 5 and 12, and then somebody else get me, because I wanted to get these points, man. These were important. Somebody else get me Ecclesiasticus 17 and verse 5. Actually, read Ecclesiasticus 17 and verse 5. Because remember, a babe doesn't mature because now they can walk. That's not a sign of maturity. That's just a sign of physical development. Their cognitive, their motor skills are developing. But now when you speak to them and say, hey, don't touch the fire, son, and they look at you like, okay, don't touch the fire. Or when you say no, and they, okay, I'm not going to do that. That's how you see that there's signs of development and maturity. Now, that's the same thing within us. You already proved your soul in the trial of your life. You already went through and see what was good for it. How are you knowing that you're developing? Is it because you got the 5 senses? It's because your understanding is growing. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 17 and verse 5.
Go ahead.
They received the use of the 5 operations of the Most High.
We all got that. Touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. 5 senses, right? Go ahead.
And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding.
You see that? But now the understanding has to start to develop. Read.
And in the 7th, speech. An interpreter of the cogitations. Thereof.
Right. Cogitation, speaking of the way the mind works. The cognitive functions. Right? But how do you know that the cogitations, the way the mind works and understand, are linking up with the touch, the taste, the smell, the hearing, the sight? How do you know? How can you tell that the baby's motor skills are developing along with his mental skills and his skills of understanding? Go to Hebrews 5 and 12. Hold where you at.
Come. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12.
Go ahead.
For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again.
Right, go ahead.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High.
So the first thing is that you teach this child. You develop all these skills within him. You give him the understanding of the 5 senses. Right? You use your nose to smell, you touch, you taste, you explain. Go ahead.
And are become such as have need of milk.
Go ahead, read on.
And not of strong meat. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful.
And that's the one thing we all have to understand, that when you are on the milk, the skills to use these senses weren't there. They have to be developed in you. But how? Read on.
In the word of righteousness. For he is a babe.
Come on.
But strong meat belonging to them that are of full age.
So how is it that you know a man is coming to his full age or maturing? Well, really, it's how he uses his senses. It's how he uses these things that are lawful. Because, yeah, it's lawful for you to look. But the scriptures say that he that looketh at a woman in adultery or looketh on a woman in lust committeth adultery. You see how that works? So now this man is growing, and he's not just staring down every booty that walks through the mall. Because now he's saying, wait a minute, if I'm looking at her and lusting, well, let me go to Joe, let me make a covenant with my eyes. Let me not look. His senses of sight and understanding how to look and what to look at and when to look, they start to heighten. When to eat, what to eat, they heighten. The taste, the touch. It says, touch not, taste not. That's what the scriptures say, right? So he's understanding, wait a minute, there's a time for everything. It's a time to eat, time to sleep, time to taste, time to look, time to not. Let me get the understanding on when, but how? How does it happen? Go ahead, read on, Major.
Even those who by reason of use have their senses
by reason of what?
By reason of use.
Yeah, he has to use his senses. He has to use his senses, but, and I know we skipped a little bit, but those senses are being used, but they're being directed and guided. Because the first thing a babe has to do before they start using their senses, they got to be told, this is how you use your senses. They have to be willing to listen. Ecclesiastes 6, they got to be able to bow their ear. They got to be willing to be taught. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. So a babe has to be willing to be taught and shown, and then accept the fact that they don't know, and then accept the teachings, and then use it. See, it's all these things, how you know a man is maturing, how a woman is maturing from a babe, blabbermouth, no incontinent, loose bowels type of person, to that continent, restrained, mature mind state. Is first the willingness to listen and hear and be told. But if you can't tell a baby nothing, if you talking to him and you run it off, how's he going to understand what to do? He won't. So then now he's told, you teach him, then you sit back and you watch him use his senses. And watch him exercise himself through what? Going right back to the first scripture. Right? Giving yourself to the things that are or giving yourself, trying your soul. What does it say? Proving your soul in your life and seeing what's evil for it and giving yourself not unto that. That's how you know a man or a woman is maturing. What are they giving themselves to? Are they still giving themselves to the? It says flee youthful lusts. Are you still chasing those things, the youthful lusts, the things you wanted 5 years ago? Or are you seeking the spiritual things? Finish it up.
Have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
So how do you know a man is coming to maturity?
have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
You see, you know how to discern whether something is good or evil. You know what to give yourself to. You know that all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. You know that even though this is a good thing for me to have, I just don't need it right now. I don't got to force the issue. Finish up Ecclesiastes 17.
Good. Ecclesiastes 17 and verse 6. Counsel. And a tongue.
Wait, they have what?
Counsel. And a tongue.
Come on.
And eyes. Ears. And a heart. Gave he them to understand.
Right. Because it wasn't just about one sense or the other. It was about all these senses working cognitively in this function in the mind. It says a wise man's eyes are in his mind. So I'm looking, but I'm thinking. Right? It says a fool's mouth. It says a fool. It says what does it say? We just read it about the heart being in their mind. A fool's heart is in his mouth. Right?
Yes, sir.
But a righteous man's heart or mouth is in his heart. Is that how it goes? Right. So what is it? I'm looking, but I'm thinking. I'm talking, but I'm thinking. Why? Because I'm now getting the understanding. So just to close it out, remember, man, when I was a child, I thought as a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child. But when I became a child, when I became a man, a grown-ass man, a grown woman, I put away the childish thinking, the childish way of speaking. I put away the childish way I understood. Why? Because it was about showing my growth and development. So that way you can lead babes out of their child mind. Yes, sir. Y'all get that? Come on. Any questions? Nothing?
Dorothy Branch had a question online.
You said what?
Dorothy Branch has a question online.
Is it on the top?
I think so.
Oh, why am I going to that? What was her question?
She said, how do you get to the level of being slow to anger / controlling your spirit?
Well, if we just went through it, you got to be exercised. You know, it's very simple. It starts with one scripture. You got to base, like, let's say you got anger problems. Well, the Bible says anger is rest in the bosom of fools. So if you got anger problems, you got to sit back and say, well, okay, if I got a problem with anger, then guess what's going to happen? I'm going to be exercised, like the scriptures say, by that anger. Now, I can do one or two things. I can calm down, take a breath, think before I speak, or I can just act out of that anger, which is what? You just go with the first thing that comes to your mind. There's nothing wrong with slowing down and thinking, and then saying, you know what scripture do I have in my head? There's nothing wrong with saying, damn, what scripture do I got in my head? When situations arise, that's what you're being exercised by. Your anger is supposed to exercise the anger out of you by using the scriptures, and that's supposed to go inside of you. So now, it's written in your heart, right? It's like pork. Who in here got a pork problem? Nobody, right? Because why? That's been exercised out of you. It's been presented to you 50 million different ways. And now you ain't got to think too hard when it comes to eating pork. You just know, that's in me. I ain't got to do that. It's not a battle. Pork is a carnal thing. Anger is a spiritual thing, but it can still be wrestled the same way. Just you're being exercised by that demon, and now you have to use the scriptures to battle. One scripture is all you need, really. You find that scripture that you like about anger that really convicts you, and you replay it in your mind. And then when that anger situation arises, let that come to the forefront of your brain. And then when you apply that, then you say, okay, let me find the other ones. Let me find the other demons in me. But it starts with one, man. As long as you got one, you're good. Or as long as you even know that the Most High don't like anger. He don't deal with angry people, because anger leads to pride and hate and these different things. If you have that concept in your brain, then it should at least slow your thinking down before you start acting out of it. Y'all got that? All right, man. Let's get up out of here. Listen, we thank everybody online for being with us. We're going to be back tomorrow. So if y'all got questions, it's all good. Just come back tomorrow. You know, we don't mind. We've been going over a lot lately. So, yeah, tomorrow we're here, Shabbat morning class. You know how we do the reading, and then we'll answer all the questions you want. All right. Anybody got anything they want to testify about how the Lord has been good to you? How the Father has blessed you? Anything? Live? All right. Well, if that's it, let's say shalom. Let's salute them online. Let's say shalom. Shalom. We'll see y'all tomorrow from 10 to 2.